Okay, so welcome to our next game of the Wrath of the Immortals set in Mystara. We're up to session number 124 of Phase 3, Season 2, Episode 10. I have actually updated the session notes online, which is, well, I hadn't done it for over a month, so I did manage to get around to doing it. Not as big as it could be. I could actually put more detail in there, but it's been updated. As have some of the magical items, so some new people can get some, as there's one new player in this game and 4 new players in Wednesday's game.
Cool. Oh, nice.
So Wednesday's now the full group.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Which is nice. Okay, so with that in mind, I will start off with Jeremy online.
Good evening all, though take me button off. Yes, I'm playing Dracula, the Atruaghin tribesman who was starting out as a local watchman and got tasked with looking after some juniors as they went out into the wider world. Unfortunately, that didn't go so well. The juniors died. He got trapped in time for a while, came back, was too old for the clans, got sent out right off the plateau, came back as a hero and chosen by Atruaghin to be a champion of the clan, which many have to try and learn some of that more, pay more attention to the religious stuff, but also eventually selected to be a chieftain of the previously unknown dragon tribe, which turned out to be well big enough to be considered the dragon clan, and and subsequently also got selected by all of the other clan chiefs when the Atruaghin declared that the clans were going to war and they needed to select a chief of chiefs. Jack Dibble was apparently the least unwelcome candidate amongst all the other chieftains.
It's always nice to be the least objection-worthy one.
We're selected to be clan chief of chiefs in absentia. Got back and found out that yes, all hail the king, or chief.
Chief is actually a reasonably good way to put that.
Indeed. But yes, also a part of his understanding of the greater world, a better understanding of how to unite the clan properly and more permanently. He ended up as the general, or a general, of the Darrican armies during when they faced in the battles against the Master. During his current gap in the war seasons, we're currently out to recruit more friends for Darrican to fight against the Master.
And now that you've realised you now have more than the clans you thought you had at your disposal, you now have another 10 clans down here.
Yeah.
So it's not just the 5 clans that he was used to with the 6th clan added on. There's now another 10 clans down here. And they're all technically part of the same family.
And they've all gone, yeah, you're the boss.
Again, he was having enough with each other, work out how am I going to unite the 6th clan that he knew about on the plateau. Now he finds out there's a lot more to unite.
He's like, there's a lot more work to be done.
There's more of him than he expected. And there might not be just one dragon clan.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because there's 2 turtle clans, there's 2 elk clans, there's 2 tiger clans.
Yep. There might be another dragon.
There might be.
On the plus side, at least, the tiger clan down here isn't necessarily nearly as disreputable as the tiger clan up on the plateau or down in the plateau.
So they're not all vicious psychopaths.
Well, they don't have at Santiotl at the core of their belief system.
That's true.
No.
When you've got a god as horrible as that in charge of your clergy, then either you toe the line or you lose your heart.
Yes. Literally, somebody eats it.
So at the table today we have Paul,
Who is the poor put upon pretty boy, diplomat, elf, warlock, healer, prince, noble of 2 different peoples, and carrier of a sword he can't show anybody.
Okay.
well, it doesn't look like it used to, so you do have that benefit.
There is that, but I can't draw it because they can still see the symbols on the blade. And anyone who half knows what they're looking at, are going to look at that and go, who the hell are you? And why?
Yep.
And we need to question you about that. Let's go and get some people. So I'm not going to show anybody.
And the focus and pictures.
Yeah. What was that?
You said, we didn't question you, let's go get the people. And some focus and pictures.
Yes.
And the hot bowl.
Well, they're more likely to use spells, but yeah, you get the idea. It's not going to be nice. Oh, and also, one of the people who has given Lani some of her titles.
Correct. That has happened.
Yes. Oh, and clan leader.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
It's always good to be leader of your own little clan.
Yes.
Even if you're anyone that follows you.
Well, in this...
Well, technically, he's still got to choose who his clan officially follows, because his minor clan has to attach to a major clan.
Yes, the thing is...
Unless he plants the seed.
Because most of the... I'm going to have to, because most of the major clans will buggered off. There's no real way to know at the moment who's actually in place, so it's all in limbo right
Well,
now.
there is your grandfather.
My grandfather.
Yeah.
Who's my grandfather?
The king of the Shadow Elves.
Oh, that grandfather.
So if you want to play
I've
that.
got 2.
We should have 2 grandfathers.
Yes.
If you had more than 2, I'd be worried. If you had less than 2, I'd be worried.
No, it's quite possible to have more than 2.
Would anyone know
My
about the other one?
grandfather's remarried.
Well, then it's not your grandfather. That's
He's
your
still my grandfather.
step grandfather.
You know, that's my grandfathers.
And sex change is possible, so you could literally have 4 grandfathers.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, come on, there's a belt for that. You put it on, you're the other gender.
Now it's a book.
Oh, it's a book. It's the same thing.
It's a ritual. It's not a curse. You can actually choose to do it.
Nice.
So it is completely different.
Well, they used to have both, because you could do, there was a ritual that allowed you to do it, and you had the belt, which was a curse.
Yeah. Originally, you could only change sex by a curse, and you could never change back.
No,
Yeah.
change
Actually, no. Every time you put it, if you take it off and put it back on, you change it back. The thing is, the third time you do it, you're now neutral. You're neuter, and that's unchangeable, even by wish.
I read that in one of the editions. It was funny.
Oh, that's the same description that's always been there. That goes back to bloody 2nd edition.
I'm fairly certain that the original was you wore it once, and after that it was a very pretty belt.
Yeah.
The very original one in D&D may have read that, but the one in AD&D 2 did not.
Yeah, AD&D.
It actually did it a couple of
Where
times.
Classes Race had it.
Yeah.
It was magical only until you put it on, and then it was no longer magical.
Yeah, that's the original.
Which was why
D&D
you could
one.
never undo it, because it was,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a enchantment.
It's a single shot.
It was an
curse.
instantaneous curse.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yes, the later one was it worked multiple times, but if you did it more than a couple of times,
Then
yeah,
you
you're
made
no
sure.
gender at all now.
Yeah. That's funny. I like it.
Okay, which brings us to Lani.
I am playing Kupo Lani Alakai. She goes by Lani. Holder of many titles. So we got, realistically, Lani, the weapons master fighter. But then we got Lani the Undying, Lani the Bane of Fire Giants, Lani the Provisioner of Pixies, Lani the Cool Cape Crusader, Lani the Standard Bearer of Clan Law, Lani, Captain Lani, Nightwalker Bane, Lani the Undefeated, Recover and Healer and Friend of the Legendary Kikoa. And then, most importantly at this current moment, Lani the Empress of the Sea. Both previous and future and time makes no sense. That's really what this comes down to, is Lani is learning to move through time, and it is confusing to her and to everybody around her, and she can't talk to anybody about it other than Drazzle, and even then talking is more just like, and then Drazzle's like, and then that's it. That's the most she can talk about it.
Well, that's the thing. Past and future Empress of the Sea.
Yep.
And now we're making it so you're the present Empress of the Sea. Because that's what that seat's for.
Yes.
Which locks you in place to allow you to do the other two things.
Yes and no.
Yes.
Yes.
Approximately.
Yes.
Thank you, Drazzle, for that explanation.
Thank you,
Right.
Drazzle. And also, we are currently on this quest, and the only reason we have returned now is because Death told Lani to. Death said, come back in 1 year.
Yeah.
And so Lani has to listen to what Death or Thanatos says. She respects him, and he has called her my child, and that implies that we're going to work together more.
And worry the pajamas out, the rest of us.
So.
And if he actually means child or just someone younger than him is a hard part to tell.
I'm not going to ask. I'll let Lani work that out at some point.
It's called How the Scientific Mind, and experiment till you figure it out.
And the funny thing is he's old enough that even the oldest immortal would be considered a child to him.
Yes.
Precisely. So.
But your presence in this world is older than him.
Only in one node of time.
For this one timeline?
Yeah, for one node of time.
For one node of time.
If someone walks into a different node of time, they can have the same impact on the world. They have.
They have.
And
they
will do.
Will.
Yes.
It's just this is what we are.
But in this particular node, the one that she's involved in, she's been here longer than Thanatos has, or at least started here.
She was there before Kronos was there.
Kronos, sorry.
Yeah, but I was here
Thanatos was after
before
that, though.
Kronos, but
Thanatos was before that. Thanatos was there before the time started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would say Thanatos was ever present.
He's one of the few that were there
because
before.
Death must exist before time does,
Whereas
because that's what time
also
involves.
So Kronos, I would say, is Lani's primary god at this stage. But of course,
maybe.
But of course, Lani respects all gods, and
because entropy is the limitation on all other things.
Exactly.
And without that limitation, nothing can happen.
So Lani is definitely the one that many pantheons balance.
Okay, so then we have Grant.
Unlike Lani has one title, Pat the Old Bastard.
So far, just stick around.
No, we're comfortable with one title.
I thought that was an instruction.
Well, stick around.
No, Pat the Old Bastard.
Well, Father Pat is definitely...
Yeah, all right. And we won't go anywhere near where that could take us, shall we?
Well, Father Pat is technically
No
the title.
That's correct.
Yeah,
No visualizations.
Yes, no. So, yeah. That's him.
With the mechanical leg.
With a claw on it.
Yes.
Or several claws on it.
Well, one
Retractable.
claw.
With that high-tech
Sorry?
mechanical.
Well, the foot is a claw.
Oh, it was one claw.
Yeah, and it can have claws come out of it.
Right.
So it's technically a paw with claws coming out.
Yes.
Right, yes. And
Pretty cool.
Magitech, not tech.
Yes. Note to self retract
Approximately.
before you scratch head.
And if you, I can see he's going to catch himself doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Back
That's
to
what,
me.
if you're
It's straight in his ear, yes.
if you're trying to sneak, make sure retract.
I don't
sneak. Yeah, I was gonna say, Paladin, you're just go.
Well, the other thing too is if he's going to sneak, he's going to have to do it on only 1 foot.
Sneaking is not a strength.
No.
No.
No, I have heard plate armor being run in. You cannot be even remotely close to quieting it.
Correct.
To the extent that the old 3.3 and 3.5 hearing modifiers for plate was actually realistic. It was impossible
Yep.
to
Got all
not
these
hear.
Second can help you.
Yes, I cast silence on myself. Why? So I can walk across the room.
Yes. Yes. Plate armor of silence. Bloody useful stuff.
Even with the penalty for the plate armor, Dracula can make that fairly quiet. Because he's got the scout leader visual aspect that he can
Yes.
apply my skill ball to an ally.
Yes, in 5th edition, you can. It's a lot easier to get around in. In 3.5, the modifiers like +8 to hear them.
Or you get
Almost impossible to
Elven,
get rid of that.
or you get Elven mithril version of it,
Yes,
and
which is
suddenly,
Way around it.
and suddenly it has no stealth penalty
yes,
because
Yeah.
the stealth penalty is removed as long as it's enchanted as Elven armor.
yeah, yes,
It's a very cute enchantment
yes.
and reduces its bulk by 1 category. So
Which makes it functionally medium armor.
yeah.
Yes.
Whereas it's normally applied to medium armor, making it light and wearable under other armor.
Yeah.
Can I ask
Which means you could do it to
a
medium and
question?
make it light armor.
Vis-a-vis game ruling, it says you have resistance to lightning if thunderous while its shield is ready. That is defined as being
Your shield's
Yeah.
up and ready to use.
not on my back.
If it's
No,
on your back,
that's
it's
not
not
ready.
ready.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was the case, but I
Yeah.
figured I would get.
Yeah,
A lot of them have drawbacks that if you're carrying it, it gives you nothing.
Yeah.
And if you've got it held, it does stuff. There are some things that will charge while you're carrying it, but you can't use the charges until you pull it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
That,
it's
it made
like-
sense, but I just wanted to
Yeah,
confirm.
it's
that.
like you can't use a sword unless
it's
you've got it
scattered.
ready to use. The shield's the same. You've got to have it ready, and it's
Yeah.
ready to.
And if it's a large shield, it can literally be used as cover.
Well, this is a.
yeah. Yes,
That-
kneel down.
This
kneel
is
down
heavy
and plant it.
shield.
Yeah.
The heavy shield, yes. The heavy shields can be used as cover.
So it's a, the
Yeah,
heavy
because
shield is
they're
effectively a
conservative.
pavis.
Yeah, you could, yes, literally.
Then
Right, it's a power shield.
above the heavy shield is the tower shield.
Oh, right, that's
So
Yeah,
there
so-
are 2 different types. The
Yeah.
tower shield has the abilities of a heavy shield,
Yeah.
but it has some extra stuff it does.
Yeah, but a pavis is a large shield or a tower shield that is designed to be grounded.
Yeah.
I.e., you put it in the ground and
Put a
set
stick
it,
behind it.
and that can be done with a large as well as a tower. Towers are basically built for that, but you can do it with a large. I've seen pavises that are only this size.
But you've got
They're
the
designed and
heavy
built for
shield, so
something.
it's designed to work well
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
You can't get the bonuses of using the sword with the heavy shield because it's not they don't pair up that well.
Right.
Yeah.
But you've got the benefit of the heavy shield.
Yeah. Great axe, no shield. Great axe is a two-handed weapon only. If you're using a great axe.
Okay, so with the story so far, you have taken a sky ship to the Isle of Dread for your second coming.
No patting of head.
They had been here previously. It was an interesting visit.
Mm.
No one died this time.
No.
Yeah. It's not prophecy. It's not prophecy. Lani didn't say that.
That was a player
That was a
comment.
player comment. Not a prophecy.
No, I'm sure it's perfectly true. There was no mention whether it was in the party that person. I'm sure someone's going to die on the island in the next.
Eventually. I'm sure
Nice.
in the next bajillion
In
years,
context,
someone will die.
in context, connected with us.
I didn't say that.
So-
The words of prophecy.
Yes, prophecy is always fun because the words of the prophecy can be twisted in so many ways.
Something will
It
happen
will be.
or it won't. To somebody. Right, pay me. What?
Well, that's why Druzzle shows pictures, which could be interpreted in many ways.
Yes.
And he may show you a picture he drew previously of an event that just happened.
Right.
And as far as you know, he just drew it.
Because he can. Because chances are he's drawing it from memory of some kind.
Or he drew it a year ago and just didn't tell anyone and just happened to be on that page when it happened.
Yes. Yeah, it's when he shows you a picture of something that's just happened and the paper's aged and faded. Yeah. He's not that old.
Apparently, allegedly.
Well, okay. He was born less than that number of years ago.
Yes.
They know he was born literally 14 years ago in this setting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it this
So-
way, I'm barely an adult. I wasn't a child. I was an adult when he was born.
Yeah.
However, he has done things
Keep
where...
an eye on my mid to late 40s. Yeah.
And he was an adult at the age of 2.
Yeah. Because they're
That's
basic,
just-
they come out of the egg basically full size. Or most of full size. But he has indicated, or said things that indicated that his existence is more than a century long. By his own timeline, he's probably older than I am. And I'm only 140, that's young.
Yes, when you get over 1,000, that's when you're a bit long in the tooth.
Yes. that's when I'll actually start greying.
Okay, so
Using hair dye.
when you got to the Isle of Dread, each of you spent some time with one of the clans while Draknamar did the diplomatic thing and didn't insult 3 of the 4 clans.
They're just avoiding them.
That was a will roll theme, wasn't it?
No, he actually chose, he didn't choose a clan.
I specifically chose to stay in the main common hall.
Yes. And I went off and was entranced by talk of the stars and various other interesting things.
By the Raven clan.
By the Raven clan. And I'm hoping and presuming that they were impressed by the fact that I could keep up with their movement around their roost.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have stairs.
Lani
Or
had-
railings.
Yeah, or railings. And I can deal with that.
Lani had to be very patient. She was with the turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the turtles always spoke slowly.
Yeah. But they taught her about time, and that's potentially why she she didn't go with the party
Yeah.
when they left.
Mm.
Potentially.
because I was
some
saying
insight
could
from
easily
the
tell you.
turtles. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it wasn't the tree
People
that
spoke
time.
fast and wait.
I might still be there just talking to the turtles. That's really why I was
Have you got past hello yet?
Who knows
Yeah.
at this stage.
Well, when you learn that things like the Treants use the equivalent of only 100 words in their language to say everything, when you say tree, you don't actually use like birch or ash. You have an entire paragraph or 2 to describe that one thing. And if you use that one thing more than once, you've got to insert that paragraph every time. It makes it a very long conversation.
Insert paragraph A here. Insert paragraph A1 here.
Repeat 20 times because you're talking about this tree over that tree and you've got to distinguish the difference between the two.
Mm.
Very difficult.
May even go to the counting the number of leaves on each one.
Yeah.
And then the wind changes and one of the leaves blows off and they've got to restart the conversation.
Yeah.
Or it's autumn and the it's well and truly fucked.
It's a very quiet
They
time
take
around autumn.
that into account, the change of seasons as they talk.
It's a lot simpler in autumn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And
Except
so
when you try and describe the changing of the colour of the leaves.
that is true. And so they then headed off into the island, managed to have a conversation with the elder Kraken, got to see 2 megalodons in the distance. Didn't have a conversation with them, they were a bit aloof. They were also far away, which also helped.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then after making the 6-mile land bridge crossing. They ended up in the island itself and realized it's a horrific place now with smoke and ash everywhere. Everything's burning. And when they had true sight, they figured out it was also covered with iron filings everywhere. So the ash itself was molten hot iron particles floating through the clouds and joining up, which had pushed away both the Fey Dark and the Fey Wild because they don't like iron.
Yeah. And
Not the only ones.
it's also messing up magic and
Communication,
tech communication and a few other things.
divination,
Breathing properly.
that too.
Mm.
And so, with a couple of mounts to help you on your way, you made it to the first resting area and realized it wasn't there because it required the Feywild to be available to use. So then they made it to the tar pits, and Llewell pulled out his tower and realized it had become a fortress.
This is, yes.
Oh, we got bigger.
But it's basically the same size, but now it's got an enclosure and I think another level. No, sorry, it's got two. It's a double tower now. It's not a single tower with 3 rooms in. It's no taller, but it's bigger and there's a
So the space inside the walls was free to breathe.
yeah.
And then they
So
saw that the
whole
top.
tower enclosure is protected from the environment.
Yeah, 'cause that's how you guys got away from
Yeah.
essentially the floating molten iron or whatever.
And the tar pits were on fire.
Well, of course they were. They're tar pits.
And there's lava. So yeah.
Yeah.
And as it was a 9-mile long tar pit, it was a lot of fire.
And a lot of
But those
smoke.
fumes smelled great.
Well, while you're inside the fortress, perfectly fine.
Yeah. Can't move the
Okay,
fortress.
what's they doing?
Yeah.
Then the wind changed and they came out and
Can't move the fortress and I can only use it once every 2 days.
Correct. Yeah, I remember that.
And so they decided to take the eastern route around the tar pits, going up the western side of a great lake, and ended up confronted by a herd of carnivores.
Yeah,
They were very scared.
Though they did also have a introduction with the Ultraraptors earlier, but that was more of a impasse greeting, and they saw the Fanaton villages that had been burnt down.
Yeah.
These sort of things happen when someone pokes the power nodes.
yeah, a little bit.
And so when the herd attacked, they exploded the leader of the herd and then scared the rest of them off.
Yeah. Little
Yep.
bit of over damage.
I think we could thank Calcrix for part of it.
Calcrix did the scary offy part,
Yeah.
whereas the
That was the part of it.
cat known as Bob did the highlighting part.
Ah, got it.
Though no one quite got to see how he did it.
It just happened.
Well, they do have their laws. If you saw it, he had to shoot you.
Right. Dead? Or just shoot you?
Basically, it's
Because for
equivalent.
the information, I'll take. You know, maybe we'll take a shot in the leg.
It's like, yeah.
So that's what I need to clarify: is it shoot you dead or just shoot you?
Well, if they can erase your memory, they'll do that
Oh right, okay.
Yes.
because they don't want anyone knowing what they can do.
Yeah.
Because their gods have rather strict rules around sharing of technology.
So what? They got
Like
the men
our
in,
shop block.
they got the men in black like thing.
Yes.
No, it's more they killed them.
But they use
Details.
They do have tech, but they have to have their tech physically present, and it takes a lot of work to do so.
So that's just they're like too much effort.
Yeah. But it uses a
Kill
laser.
Just
Yeah. That's fun. So yeah, I remember they.
It froze the target.
Yeah. So they were able to scare off the herd, and then found another one of those tree enclosures, or
No, they ended up finishing the session after they had done that.
Let's get the monsters off.
okay.
because it was such a big thing scaring the monsters off, and we were hitting 10:30 at that point.
Yes,
I'd
going further would have been, this is going to take another hour,
Yes.
sort of thing. So
Decided.
decided.
We wanted to let Lani catch up after a meeting with the turtles.
Yeah.
Yes, fair.
Okay, so one moment you're riding along the edge of the lake with burning ash falling down beside you.
Yes.
Next moment you find yourself sitting in a nice pleasant campsite sipping tea.
No transition.
Have a look around. This is about
You have a
set up.
transition from riding on the back of a T-Rex to sitting down sipping tea by a clear lake.
Okay, that's not a transition, that's an instant change.
It was an instant change.
Yes.
Are our mounts with us, or are they not there?
There are no mounts here.
So my cat has gone elsewhere.
As soon as you think my cat, you can't actually remember a cat.
Can I remember the night before?
You remember there was something weird going on here? You come into this island to do something, and
That my memory is that fuzzy, right? Thank God I don't use my head.
and
Really, I'm hitting me
you're
with-
all traveling into the center of the island to find a hidden throne.
Yes. And this looks very much like the effects of a Fae.
And you see the remembered shimmering above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Presence
Him
of
looking
Fae.
around the campsite, does it look like the sort of campsite that he would have set up?
It does look like the sort of campsite you would have set up, and you see Lani and Drezel sitting in the campsite, but you don't see a Calcrix.
Interesting. Does Lani remember getting here or no?
Well, Lani remembers having this slight trip back in time.
Yeah.
Having to fix something.
Yeah.
And you somehow manage to get with the help of Drezel, get the Primal Titans back to the island before the others arrived.
Right.
That's pretty good. So the Titans are back and settling? Question mark?
In a way,
They're just back.
they're back.
They're back.
In a way, I know.
Yeah. Got it. So,
They're actually communicating
yeah.
in the first time in their history.
They,
You've got
Cool.
6 Primal Titans having conversations with each other.
Record all of it and then go back in time and tell it.
And some of it being along the lines of play, play, play.
yeah.
Still
Yeah.
worth recording.
Bunch of Primal Titan toddlers on this island.
Teach them how to be nice people. You can parent, can't you? Or you can make it up.
Oh, he's not much of a parent. She can captain. I don't know about parent. We'll try.
Who else is there?
Quick question.
Put it this way, to your Drazzle.
Yeah.
And you believe that Calcrix had, instead of coming into the island, had set out on the task to convince the Titans to settle down and not eradicate this thing called humanoids.
True, because Calcrix.
There were a couple of slips on Friday night, and there were discussions about wiping out the Master, who was a humanoid.
And so they're just like, okay, guys,
And they will-
humanoid, take them all out.
And they were warned that once they start killing a humanoid, they will wipe out every humanoid, because every time they see it, it will always be the Master.
Yes.
Because they will associate humanoid equals Master.
Yes.
Yes. They need to learn to differentiate. So I'm guessing
They can't tell because people are so small.
wherever Calcrix may be,
Good
she
for-
may be helping the Titans settle back in.
It's the equivalent of a human telling the difference between 2 of the small little ants. You could with enough looking at it, but if it's on the ground and you're standing, they sort of look the
But
same.
if you teach them how to look at a power signature, not the physical person, you can go, this power signature is the Master. These little tiny faded ones are not.
Well, that's why she's sitting with them with Drazzle as well,
Yeah.
having a one-sided conversation.
Yes. So you
can't
as a
have great
human,
conversations, yes.
yeah, as a human, you can tell the difference between a tiny ant that is black and a tiny ant that is sand-coloured.
Yes.
With great ease. That's the level of things you need to get to.
So at the moment, they see tiny ant and tiny ant. They don't tell
I
colour
know
that
that's
well.
the point. Is getting to the point of being able to distinguish it somehow by scent or whatever.
There was a suggestion of by taste.
No.
Yeah,
Not-
not a good option.
Yeah.
Num num num. Nope, not the right ones.
Yeah.
Num num num. Also not the right
I
ones.
have
Num
to
num.
taste every single one to find the master. But when I find him, I will stop.
Yeah.
Eats,
That assumes I have found it.
yeah, eats
No,
30% of the population of the world in 2 minutes.
And with 6 of them to go.
Ooh.
6 times 30% is more than 100%.
Yes.
So, yes,
I'll pick up some Immortals doing it too.
The GM had to actually point out to the players that convincing them to attack the master or his forces was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because they understood emotions, not words.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't get nuance and detail when you're doing that.
No.
They were learning, but it was
I could do it. I could do it.
Calcary's got a natural 20 and managed to convince them not to kill the world.
I've got the
Pick
elven.
up precautions.
I've got the elven lineage ability to make anyone understand what I say. As long as they have enough intelligence to understand it. So as long as I keep my communication to their level, they'll understand what I'm asking them for.
See,
Even though they have no memory.
See John run.
They managed to
Yes,
convince them to
so I
go
could do that.
home based on
Yeah.
seeing their siblings.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's the only thing they could all agree on when they were all trying to talk to them.
Yes. Yeah. But that's sort of what Lawless ended up being. He's got training as a diplomat, but he's more a negotiator and communicator.
But now they know a ritual to be able to contact them.
That sounds frightening.
It is. You just got to have a piece of their parents.
Given their elemental primals, not too hard to do.
Piece of the Earth Master and the Goddess Terra to talk to the Primal Hunger.
So you need more than just a piece of earth.
You know, you need a piece of their parents.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
literally.
You need more than a piece. Yeah, okay.
And each of these gave them
Not
a.
easy.
They gave them a small gemstone in the shape of an apple.
That's cool. I like that. That's really neat.
That's, yeah.
And then they expended them in talking to them.
At least they persuaded them to go home. So
That was the important part. They were
it
supposed
was
to go home.
useful. It was
Yeah.
actually useful. Just not half as useful as they thought it might be.
Well,
I'm sure
now
I can get
that
away with that.
now they have a few other things they have to achieve. But they've put the seasons back in place.
Nice. Useful for people. Stops deaths.
Good before the end of summer, so.
Yes.
Well, before the end of spring.
Oh, sure, that's where we're at.
Yeah. Piss off the master too. He probably like the idea of the chaos of people starving to death while he's attacking them.
Well, if they starve to death, he can raise them as friends.
Exactly.
Very loose term there.
Well, he's a necromancer after all.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Join my side. Don't have to worry about food.
Yes.
You be my friend.
And the pay is all you could ever need.
You'll live forever.
Yes.
Ish.
No, health plan, absolutely brilliant. You'll never have a disease again.
And the funeral plan's even better.
Well, there is no funeral plan because
Exactly.
you actually
Well, no,
work.
no.
You serve his army twice because your body serves and your spirit serves in 2 different locations.
Yes, no, there is a funeral plan. It's paid for by the opposition when they kill the 2 bits of you.
Yes.
So they do it for you.
Exactly.
Okay, it's not very nice afterwards, but hey, you don't care.
And unless they kill both pieces, then they can keep bringing the
Yes.
bringing them back. Either back can be brought back as long as the master's got one of the pieces.
Yeah.
So we just make sure they're both serving different theatres and they'll never go away.
Yes, it's amazing how many loopholes you can find out about.
Yeah.
So we are sitting around this campfire now, sipping tea, being like, what's going on? Is the one Ricasta still with
He is not with you.
So it's just the party sitting around.
Just the party. Because you changed time. You remember what happened before.
Yeah,
We don't.
it's all good. Everything's
So as far as you're concerned, you've just travelled the entire way with the party on this leisurely walk through this pristine environment, whereas you've got these memories of this horror
Just
world
horror.
the night before, the moment before, and then suddenly switch over and not being able to connect the memories together.
I'm going to having a look around and having a look at Lani being all sort of clean. I'm going to look at my clothing
Yep.
and my hair and see if there's any of those bloody iron particles in it.
Not a single one.
Okay. Something time related just happened, didn't it?
this is better.
Well, we were travelling through smoky volcanic clouds of iron powder next to a lake of burning tar, and now we're here having dinner. So I'd say this is better.
It's
And we're as far towards where we need to be as we were before, so we're no worse off.
sounds
So thank you.
yeah, it sounded like that sucked.
Yes, it
This is
did.
better.
Yeah, Drowsel not like how they're ending.
Yeah, this is better.
I'm not going to ask because you're not going to tell me.
You know, it's
Thought so.
Dracula simply got up and was doing a circuit of the perimeter of the campsite. Apparently things have changed and we better get used to the insertion that we're actually still secure.
and Father Pat notices he no longer has the mechanical leg because someone changed time.
What does he have now? Just
Back to my peg leg.
Back to your peg leg.
I'll have to talk to Ricardo again.
yeah.
So you did end up. You now no longer remember staying with the Ricasta, even though you remember staying with them. In this timeline, you didn't.
We'll have to stay with them on the way back out.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can learn more about the stars.
Yes.
It's
Well, you still remember
Sorry,
everything they told you.
No, it means I can learn some more.
this making things better costed a leg.
At least it didn't cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Every time the timeline is messed with, something generally is off.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've only got one leg left, so don't come after me. You call me big and stuffy.
That can be regrown.
Drozzle does confirm that the tree could be reinvigorated.
And
True, so my leg.
so could his leg.
He was talking about the tree.
Yes, I know. That's why I added the leg. You could have both legs and a tree. So you could have both legs and a leg.
Right.
Spare.
Let's grow you apples.
Yeah.
Because they'd have used apple wood because it's light. Or oak because it's available on a ship.
Yeah.
Well, he was in the Akasoli, so he could have had any sort of wood or metal used. Because they were a coastal lake, and he was there before the master came.
Yeah.
So he did lose his leg in the battles with the bear tribe.
Right.
Don't worry, they're only people under Jeremy's character.
Right. So it's his fault.
New management. New management.
No.
Maybe they dropped their world elevator on your leg. It is a wooden elevator that goes up over, I think it's 200 feet.
Way more than that, I think.
Yeah, well, over 200 feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in fact, more importantly, it goes down a whole long way.
Yeah. I did find and showed Martin a picture of the plateau that from the description of the Atruaghin plateau is what they used for it. It's 600 square miles and a kilometre high.
Right.
And it's a kilometre vertical wall. Plain. 1,000 metres and then flat plateau. That's the Atruaghin plateau.
Because the god saved his people by going,
Yep, he did really yoink.
and he was an earth god.
Yes. Yeah.
And just think he was picked on by at Santiotl so many times, he's actually now more powerful than him.
Yes. Because he keeps fighting back every time and getting stronger.
Yep.
Well, he's been unkillable for longer than he was a god.
Yes.
So he's existed in the setting as a mortal for longer than he was a god.
Yep.
It's kind of cool.
So, being one of the first undying people around.
Yeah.
Atruaghin was just like, hey, that's my line.
Yeah.
Lani may or may not become immortal. She's gonna live through time. May or may not become immortal. Remains to be seen.
Yes. When you time travel, it's quite easy to have a normal lifespan over an empire.
In disgust. Yeah, we see something who's stronger.
I'm not exactly excited by this prospect. She just knows that it's now destined to happen. And so it's more of a burden.
Well, a cup of tea rather than beer.
And unless, of course, she's looking at alternate timelines.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
And alternate timelines could really screw up a current timeline because they can overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, it is now midday and the normal sun is boiling overhead.
Oh, it's finally in its normal position after
Yep.
a year.
Yeah. Well, if the seasons are back, the day's got to be back.
Yep.
And the Feywild is back.
Which is huge.
Yeah. Which means lots of things are far less weird, which is going to be good for all of us. Means proper sleep.
And you can hear the sounds of the herbivores are back.
Excellent.
Because they had been killed off when you come onto the island
So
previously.
life has to be.
So, whatever you did, and whoever else was involved did, you've done an incredibly good thing. Thank you.
Circle of life. All that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think we
Well,
can.
we've got
we
back
can
onto the circle, which is the important thing.
yeah, we can take our other friends through Red Raid, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, so if you head further north, you have been told that there are some caves there that may help you.
Excellent.
We didn't, because we didn't go that way last time.
I can't remember which way the key came in last time.
But we had
You
to-
came in through the forest where all the Phanantons were,
Yeah.
Yeah. Different
and
direction, I think.
they were to the northwest of the Tar Lake and to the southeast of the Tar Lake. So if you just go on that angle all the way through the lake, is where the Phananton villages were.
Yeah.
But you don't remember seeing them this time, but also you don't remember seeing them burning.
I'll take that.
So not seeing them burning and not seeing them are two different things.
Yeah, but I can remember seeing them, and that's all I need. That I don't need. In fact, it's better that they don't remember me seeing them this time.
Not once were you shot by an arrow.
I'm quite glad of that.
So, well, we've heard of these caves, which is north, which will take us to the center.
Going via the caves, you should be able to head to the center because the cave complex is connected to the central plateau.
Perfect.
But you're expecting to descend into the river system instead of going onto the plateau itself, because you were told it was to the west of the plateau.
Yes.
Right.
And this plateau is much like the one Paul just described about the Atruaghin, is that it was thing raised up. But it was raised up with a valley around it that was also raised up on the outside of the valley.
Yeah, so it's just like a concentric circle.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Designed as a screw you to anyone who tried to navigate it.
It was
And the Fae would mess with anyone who didn't use a 6-mile long rope bridge.
Yes. Oh, but
Which is what we did use last time.
As the only way onto the top of the plateau.
Yeah.
Every other method of transit was blocked by the Fae.
Yep.
It's the
Flying.
highway or the highway.
essentially.
Yep. Flying, teleporting, climbing up the walls. Yes.
Any form of teleportation on this island could send you into the Fae Dark or the Fae Wild instead.
Or a volcano. Or both.
Well, it's more fun for them to send you into their space.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So they have.
They can then drop
More
you in a
fun.
volcano and laugh at you.
Exactly.
Set you on fire where you never die.
What's
Yes.
fun?
Because the rules are different.
Yes.
Or they can assign rules to you on application.
Yes, your flesh can burn, but you don't die.
Yes. Yes. This won't kill you. That is the only effect that statement will have.
As Prometheus discovered.
Yeah.
Having your liver eaten every day does not kill you.
Yes.
It does many other things, but it does not kill you.
Unfortunately.
All he did was allow humans to be humans.
Yep. So
Gods
yes,
are bastards.
oh, that does suit this setting. That sort of mentality.
Oh yeah. Most settings are like that. Gods,
All
are,
gods are
bastards in
bastards.
general.
Except for those
And
that are real pricks.
and if you don't have the gods, if you're not following the rules of the gods, they let the demons have you.
Yes.
So you play by the gods' rules, or you don't play.
Yeah.
Exactly. All gods are bastards except for those that are real pricks.
Yes. Yes. The one you want isn't so much the ones that aren't pricks. It's the one you want. The ones you want are the ones that are honest pricks.
Or the least bastards.
And the group are currently serving a spokesman for one who's about the gods should be hands-off people
Mm.
and let people be people.
Which is about as nice as you're going to get.
Sure.
Sounds very Christian-oriented, though.
A little bit.
Although there is the thing, unless you're taking power from him as a cleric or whatever, he won't help you either.
No.
So he's a god of atheists.
But you have to worship him to get that.
I know. Yeah, but the thing is, anyone going, oh, I don't like gods, I'll do my own thing, has immediately given a prayer to him.
Oh no, they have to particularly pray to him to get the benefit.
Depends on what name he uses.
That's the sad thing is, even if they don't believe in the gods, they have to give him the worship.
So if he's got an aspect that is buggering, I'll do it myself, right? Thank you for the prayer.
Yeah.
The other gods have made it a little more complicated.
I know, because they don't like people using loopholes like that, because that's their fucking trick.
It's like, rules for thee, not for me.
Well, the sun god has, if people say prayers for the sun coming up, he gets those.
Yeah.
Yes, which is why the other ones put rules in place for other people so they don't do that shit.
Yes, you can't claim something someone else has already claimed.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's the first rule. Which makes it very hard when there's lots of things they've claimed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people trying to claim the same thing.
Mm-hmm. That's what they fight over.
Yes.
And they can technically steal it from another god.
Yes.
And they do.
They do it all the time, especially Loki.
Well, it's what you do when you start wanting to, we want to kill this god. Cool, we'll take all of his stuff away. Take all of his regard, take all his power, and then we'll wipe him out. But you do that first. Because otherwise you got all this unattributed power floating around.
Which is what the current storyline is about, basically undermining two of the gods of the setting by the gods in power.
And us trying to fix it so that we can live afterwards. Because that's really what it comes down
That's a nice
to.
option, isn't it?
So the easiest way to wipe a god off this world is to destroy anyone who knows their name.
Right.
Let's not worship them who knows their name.
Mm.
So they want to wipe out the entire region you're from because they know the name of the god. And it's as simple as that.
Yep.
It sounds rather horrific, doesn't it?
Well, as I said, I've just watched
Hey,
Chaos.
it'll save the world.
Yeah.
It won't though. They think it will.
Yeah.
From their perspective, it will.
They'll save the world
It'll
for
save.
the way they want it.
It'll save their authoritarian position. Yeah.
He'll keep the world stagnant the way they like it.
Yeah, gods of Essos.
Now they've got no world.
Okay, so with that theology out of the way,
Yes.
you can see that there is a game trail heading into the hills that lead up to the mountains that encircle the island.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically going to be climbing up to the highest points before you get to the plateau. There are many different ways through here.
It's a good
Rumoured
thing.
that there are many things under here.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
a good thing we've got several ways to aid movement and climbing.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it doesn't involve, say, flying over the surface. Actually, flying over the surface.
I need to look a few things up out of that one and one of my other ones.
Mm.
Oh.
It's still a little bit
Because-
dangerous because of but it's more.
Oh yeah, but
You
as
can
long as
kind of do it.
no, as long as we do things like we fly up a cliff and then stop at the top.
Yeah. Can't go over.
Don't
it.
keep flying.
Hmm?
Don't keep flying.
No, don't keep going up. That's
Yeah.
right. Or
Because they don't know where the Feywild starts and the sky finishes.
yes, which is why everything I'm going to be doing is going to be point to point. Particularly things like Dimension Door.
You do know that is problematic here too.
Yeah, I couldn't get
It's-
some of the place for that.
It's a yeah.
You may end up in the Feywild with a simple teleport.
Yeah, so just don't. That's not to do.
handleable for me, but yeah, I won't do that. Yeah, but I've still got things like Waft and Misty Step, which is
Step.
localized
They are
teleport.
localized, but they still risk the same thing. You
Mm.
do them in emergency, not as
Yeah,
a
okay.
travel thing.
Waft then, which is a purely movement ability. I've no idea what Jeremy said because he said it overnight.
What were you saying,
I
Jeremy?
was just saying, it was still, let's say, Misty Step still involved dimensional travel, so.
Yeah,
Okay, so
actually, it's slightly more local than Dimension Door, but more problematic in this case because it explicitly goes through the Feywild.
Mm.
So yeah, it may just not come back.
well, you might meet one of the Fey Queens.
Sure, you'll come back eventually.
My wife would love that so much.
Or even worse, you could be sitting in front of the Empress. Terra herself.
I would be very polite and diplomatic and all the rest of that stuff. And apologise for turning up suddenly.
Because this is where her throne is in the world.
That is actually useful information.
There's a lot of times.
Very few people ever come here.
Yes, as long as I don't end up
And
in,
certainly no sensible ones.
as long as I don't end up in the front of the throne of the Queen of Air and Darkness,
Which is a cheap possibility.
which is the Dark Fae equivalent.
Mm.
Which is Nyx in this world.
Yes,
She's met many of the characters.
yes. She's one of the reasons why Calcrix has black scales.
And who Eeps is.
Some black scales.
Yeah.
And Eeps is hers. Yeah.
So, while you're traveling, you can do many things. There is the ability to befriend animals.
Excellent.
There
I've been
is
training on doing that.
other things you can do that I don't recommend are busk, because I don't think you're going to get any paying people while you're traveling through here.
No.
I mean, you can't practice.
There is Chronicle, which is what Druzzle does every time you travel.
Yes,
Yep.
definitely train. Yeah.
There is.
I will be making friends because I'm trying to do sort of the woodsy elf stuff because
There is
cool.
cook.
Grounded.
There is cover tracks. There is entertain, gather components, gossip, harvest, hunt and gather, pray, rob. Rob is an actual option that they've given people who want to do stuff. I'm not sure there will be many things you can rob along the way here,
Each other. Yeah.
Lani would offer to be the entertainment.
except it would be entertaining other people as you travel.
Yeah.
Oh, because there's no one to kind of
Scout,
We can see.
track, And then they're all the what they have is when you do a movement that is not how many squares are you moving.
It's not combat movement.
These are the things you can actually do along there.
Yes.
And you get a DC thrown on here depending on how bad the weather and the environment is.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Because
So
it does
stuff you
make
can do while you're traveling.
Yes.
I will do components and entertaining because I can sing. In fact,
So we
when-
entertain others, not party.
Yeah, well, entertaining. I'm going to be doing entertaining things. I'm not going to be asking money for it. In fact, we can practice together.
I was gonna say we would be probably also, I'm sure, between Dracula and.
And the idea is how many days you spend doing those activities as you go.
Yeah.
So technically, you'll have the days added back in that you came in here, as you could have performed these activities because you weren't trying to keep yourself alive and not joke.
In that case, it's going to be going for components because alchemy stuff
I'm guessing it would be
and food.
tracking and.
Okay,
Some
so
tracking too. Actually, if you're going to do tracking, I'll stick with the herbs and fruit and berries and stuff,
Yeah.
and we can get fresh food on the go.
Well,
okay.
It can turn into amazing meals.
So, adventurers that gather supplies useful for material components in spellcasting can make an Arcana or Nature check. What would you like to do?
is it your Arcana?
Well, I think Arcana is better trained. Nature. Yeah, my Arcana is notably better. Seeing I have an expertise die in it and it's a high rank skill.
Because this is one of the things that differentiates Level Up from other games is that you get a travel check.
Yeah, some of the other ones do, depending on what expansion book you use.
I mean, the core rules of Wizards of the Coast does not come with a travel check.
If you mention that it's in the core rules, then yes, that's a distinction.
Yeah, and this is actually in the core.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that.
So it will end up being 4 days worth of doing so.
So 4 rolls,
One roll,
1 roll.
and you get bonuses for each day.
Modifiers based on the amount of time taken, same way as doing a skill learning
Well, technically, it doesn't increase the DC based on the time and increases the outcome.
Right.
check. Okay, cool. So it's this hard, but you get more as you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
you spent more time doing it.
Yes. Ooh, that's a pretty damn huge result. 27.
27. Okay, so you have beat the DC with a critical success.
Nice.
So roll 2d4.
Three and 3, 6.
6 and add 11 to that,
15, 16, 17,
and then times that by 4.
78.
That's how much gold pieces worth of material components you gathered along the way.
Yes.
78.
68.
68. That's the one.
Well, hey.
Still, 68 GP worth of food and
Well,
alchemy components.
This is all completely
Yes.
alchemy
Oh, that's
components.
just the components.
That's just
Yeah,
the
cool.
components, which means that you can drop
That's-
them into
That's
spells and
impressive.
stuff.
Like,
But you can do this on any traveling journey.
Yeah.
And the nicer the environment, such as walking the southern road of Darrakan,
Yep.
the DC drops greatly.
And if I use fabricate to convert them from seeds and berries and leaves and whatever else to alchemical components, I can put them in a bag of holding without losing
potency?
potency
Mhm.
because they're not food.
Okay, so next I'll ask Grant, what sort of things would your soldier do along the way? What's his style of traveling?
Pee on trees. Sorry, that's dog.
Carefully. Basically, his style of travelling is to basically just be alert and keep guard.
Would he be the team cook?
No.
Would he
Brewer
be-
maybe, but not.
Would he be in prayer? How devout is he?
Um,
I was gonna say, you said all of his stuff is straight. Is his prayer like hitting a punching bag?
Something like that, yeah.
He punches trees on his way through.
Exactly, yes. But basically, the whole idea is basically that of it's effectively the guard, the guardian of the group. They can lead. He would be the one that brings up the rear.
Yeah.
You know. Then get out of the way of his combat involved.
Okay, so from the purpose of someone while travelling, that means all you're doing is doing the guarding and not actually trying to attempt anything during that time.
Correct.
Okay.
Means you can gather a lot of information about where we're travelling through.
Well, technically, he doesn't get anything for that.
So?
No,
There's no check because he's spending his time protecting, not
Yeah.
investigating.
Yes.
He'd have to spend some time doing cartography while he was doing it.
Yeah. But no, he's yeah.
Okay, so
He's the one that's making sure you don't get surprised.
what did Lani do this time?
In this timeline, was Calcrix with us?
Calcrix is not with you. Calcrix did not come into the island.
Yep.
This time,
If Calcrix didn't come with, then Lani would take over as cook, and they have to deal with the consequences of that.
Okay, so do you have a cooking kit?
No.
Then it's a survival check.
Yeah. That's perfectly fine.
She says rolling a single digit.
It's fine.
Okay, is it high enough that we're not poisoned?
It
So,
is.
maybe.
Some of my stuff updated. 13.
13.
That's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
So as it states here,
This is gonna be bad.
Well, the one thing we learn on this trip is that one of Lani's title is not cook.
It's not chef.
So she picks up the title nearly cook.
I wouldn't even
She also cook.
It would be according to Gordon Ramsay, idiot sandwich.
okay, so you've prepared adequate food for the entire party.
Fine, adequate.
Look at it this way, you can eat it, but you don't really want
Better
to.
than army rations, but not by much.
No, army rations were a step up.
Right, so
It will
this is
keep you
where
alive.
so this is where me doing prestidigitation and spicing it up is something we're going to need.
And the precipitation didn't take effect. She managed to make a meal that was so bland it made army rations taste
I
better.
can see the spice.
You can see all the different herbs in the meal, and it's completely blended everything out.
How did you make solid porridge?
Isn't it supposed to be like that?
It has absolutely no taste sensation whatsoever.
It was supposed to be soup.
There's onion and coriander in it, and it doesn't taste like either of them.
As a matter of fact, it tastes of nothing.
And it feels chunky to eat and heavy in the stomach.
Oh
Keeps you
well.
alive, doesn't it?
I'm going to cry.
Father Cat just eats it.
So we are not adding
Oh.
chef to Lonnie's
It
title.
says, I'm sure I've had worse. I don't remember when, because I don't remember a lot of things in this bloody timeline, but I'm sure I've had worse.
Okay, so Jeremy, what does Dracnomir do?
Well, one thing he doesn't do is comment on the food, despite having a cook kit and being proficient with it.
I believe you were doing the scouting, which you said last time. Would you like to do that this week?
And he's out scouting, and did you see something was talking about this?
There is befriend animal as well as scouting, and they're different things.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that's
no,
technically-
scouting is certainly the more priority thing that you'd be doing.
It's a tool skill.
With the idea that he can quite collectively lose it about at least 50% or 100% fast for most of the party, so he can range out from side to side fairly easily.
Okay, so for you that will be a perception check on your scouting.
Okay.
Things I haven't picked up yet.
Well, technically you make that once in the... well, technically you can make it once per region, but the regions are very general what a region is.
Yeah. That's right. So I'm happy to go with whatever. 15, 22, 36.
36. Okay, so the reason they're on a game trail is you actually found a game trail going through the Isle of Dread. They never actually followed a game trail once they came off the natives' path before, and they got lost a couple of times. And this game trail has humanoid feet markings in there, except the feet are bigger than most humans, but not as big as a giant.
Right.
It wasn't something I liked, the fact that the new timeline was when there was any evidence of the excursion tribesmen having travelled again, but we've already passed the tar pit, which would normally be the extent of their movement, wouldn't it?
The tar pit is the extent of their movement. And you remember in this timeline that they have been gathering oil as they normally do from the tar pits.
Yeah, cool, happy with that.
Because their civilization runs on tar.
We've found another tribe with Bigfoot. Good to say.
Okay, yeah.
If you are skilled in a tool set, how do you what skill do you use to check against the use of that tool set?
Well, it replaces the skill, but you can add attributes to it depending on what you're actually doing.
No,
So
I'm skilled with a set of tools. That doesn't give me a number.
It would add your proficiency bonus as your bonus to it, which is what your skills do if you're proficient with it, and you apply a attribute depending on what you're doing.
Right.
Okay.
Which is the same as the skills.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All you really got to do is work out what attribute is most appropriate.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Mm.
It was how to work out the base value. Does it go from an existing skill or is it its own thing, which is what I was after, which I got.
Yeah.
Which is why the Thieves' tools were quite confusing for people to begin with.
Yes.
Because even in
They didn't make that clear.
in the base of 5th edition, it's still not clear because people think you use skill or do you use the tool, and they're completely different checks.
Yeah. Whereas, the way it's worded, particularly in 5th edition, it's if you're skilled in a tool set that allows you to use a skill at full value. That's how it reads, at least from my remembrance of it. So that's what I was thinking it was. So, and seeing, given 10 minutes, I am proficient in basically any toolkit going, because I've got training in all of them, except the Forger's kit and the Poisoner's kit.
It's okay. Drowsel's skilled in the...
Yeah, I avoided those because I don't feel the need to have them. Actually, I don't have the Poisoner's kit. I think I do have the Forger's kit because that has its uses.
So yes, that is roughly what the journey activities are, and you find yourself up in the mountain ranges, moving through ridges as you're looking down at overly large humans with really big foreheads. Really makes you think upper build is so much more muscle than it should have. As you're looking at the Neanderthals moving around with the almost comic-like appearances.
Well, Jack, we're doing our best to lead it through an area to avoid contact with the natives,
Which is
possible.
Which is apparently the ridge tops because they don't like going up the mountains.
Yeah.
Which might be telling you something in and of itself.
The mountain tops are problematic because they touch into the Feywild. But as long as there's a track, there is technically a way there and back. Of course, when you come back is also problematic.
Of course.
It has its own little tiny issues.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
So, okay.
It's one way you can be known throughout time. You just walk through the Feywild.
Which has its uses.
Okay, so
And
yes.
dangers.
So we make our way. Trying to not disturb people.
Okay, so a couple of days later, up in the mountaintops, you're unable to do anything but survive because the air is getting thin.
Fair enough.
And just
What altitude are we at?
it
Lots.
varies because the clouds themselves sort of go through the mountain range.
Right.
We started high in the island and got higher.
Higher. Yeah, they'll do.
And
Things are changing up here a bit anyway.
and sometimes other things just pass through the mountains.
Which we're very careful
Like
not to engage with.
Storm primals and fun stuff like that.
Because, well, permanency just doesn't seem to be the same as it is up here as it is down lower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because on the very edges of the plains, material is not solid, time is not constant, energy is not as variable, and
Energy is constant, its form is not.
Yeah.
form doesn't always break down. It's just not solid.
Yes.
And thought itself seems to run wild. So it's not just contained in you. And so that's why a lot of people don't make the transition from physical to astral, because it really does mess with you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're not the person coming back, even though nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed, but you are not the same.
Yes, because you've invoked a time effect on your own person.
Yeah. You are still you.
You've gone up one leg of a
Like
time
that.
you've gone up one leg of the time trousers and come down the other one, but only for your own timeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is why it's
And if you-
confusing.
And if things go badly, you come out the fly.
And you do know that no matter how long you've been walking, time hasn't advanced in this part of the
As in the
mountain.
sun is in the same path as well.
The sun just hasn't moved. You haven't felt tired. You haven't felt hungry.
That's a good reason for that, because we're not going to eat our food again.
I was gonna say, is
No matter how hungry we feel, we're not admitting to it.
is it because I don't feel hunger, or is my cooking just so fulfilling for such a long amount of time?
I will say that your food
Was
is
sustenance.
filling.
Yes.
It
Not
was
fulfilling.
unique.
That's all I can actually say, unfortunately. But filling. I did suggest that I do cooking in the future.
Next downtime in Derek, and I think Lani's going to be heading up a culinary school.
Well, it was intended as a liquid and it's more of a solid, but hey.
Yes,
It's fine.
Not cook.
Had a little bit of extra starch in it.
The other reason that we're not feeling hunger
That was
is because we kept the leftovers and people look at it and they think, no, I'm not that hungry.
Oh yes, the excellence of dwarf bread. You can a loaf of dwarf bread can last you over a month. Because every time you bring it out, you look at it and you put it away again. And go, I'll deal.
My teeth aren't that strong.
Yes.
So, you're not exactly sure how long the piece of string was you walked across.
Yes, it was. Well, it was 6 miles or whatever it was. It's some stupid distance.
It could literally have been 5 steps, or 10,000 steps, or 10 million steps.
It's
No,
a
it's
bloody
not.
long way from either end or the middle, no matter how long it felt like it walked.
And each of you may have walked a completely different number of steps.
Yeah.
I'm entirely unsurprised.
Well, I guarantee you,
There
there
was Keklam. You need a wheel on that. There are aspects of because they're all
Yeah,
Fey around here, there's aspects of the Feywild on the actual distance. So yes, each of us had our own path of travel, but we all travelled together doing it.
And the next thing you notice is you're standing in a valley full of overly large dinosaurs.
Have any of them taken any notice of us yet?
Most of these appear to be herbivores of the aquatic type in a raging river.
So we'll leave them alone and they won't charge us. Excellent. We'll look for the ones we
Indeed.
Well, there are many of the giant crocodiles.
We leave them alone. Stay out of
And
easy charge range.
quite a few hippopotamus-related herds.
Definitely
them-
avoid them.
Give them more room than we're giving the crocodilians.
Yes.
As they seem to be king of this region.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even the carnivores of the area are giving them all wide berth.
For good reason.
Exactly.
They get stomped.
Or eaten.
Yes.
Even though they're mainly herbivores.
Yes. Can you imagine the hippos on that?
Yes, but the moment someone provoked it, you lost control of it as it goes off and goes nuts.
Yeah, it's no different to having a dire pig as a man.
Though if the party, if the rest of the party had them, as long as if they're all hippos, then the entire party's hippos would go nuts because they do it together.
Yeah, there is that slight problem that you don't get with. Well, no, pigs will do the same thing. They'll all go berserk all at once.
Okay, so
One hopes you have more control of that over amount.
you do know that in this mile or so high valley, you've got that airspace that you can move about in, because the Feywild is going up the central plateau.
Right. So
You can see that from where you are, even though it is about 8 miles distant from you.
So we've got a good amount of flying space at the moment if we feel the need.
Because this is where the pterodactyls roost.
Right.
Not that
So we don't want that much airspace because we'll have pterodactyls.
Yeah, okay.
As long as you're not heading towards the plateau, most of their pterodactyls have no interest.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, true. So once we're on the plateau, they'll basically ignore us as long as we don't annoy them.
Well, you know you weren't heading for the plateau.
Yeah.
You can see behind you maybe about 10 miles, the
Yeah.
rope line crossing the sky. It's just a thin line from here.
Oh, I'm surprised we can see even that.
Well, you've got elven eyes.
Oh, yeah, well, I can see it.
What do you see with your elven eyes?
Yes.
Exactly.
Taking the hobbit sign in the card. Okay.
You got hobbits you could supply me with for this.
Ah!
You want a set of hobbit eyes?
No. I said hobbits. She's got hobbits.
I know hobbits.
Well, half of them. Okay, they're sailors, but still.
Scary.
They're fish farmers. Right. Although Frodo was a landed gent, not a farmer.
Yes. He was the least trained of all the ones that left.
He was the
Yes.
nepo baby of the hobbits.
Well, he had
He
all the
was.
languages. He had all the
He was the-
history. He had all the.
Yeah.
He was the
I was gonna say,
gentleman.
he was a learned one.
He was the gentleman scholar
Yeah.
who was the owner of the farms that a lot of them were
Exactly.
farming on.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes.
Make our way.
So
You do know you're going
Knowledge
to
was useful.
you're going to have to cross where the three rivers meet and follow the far river to its source. Because if you had to come in from any other way, you would never find it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay.
Because if you don't go via the river, you can't find it.
Yeah. Yes, the river is the method of navigation, travel, and getting where you're going.
Creatures of time love moving rivers.
Sure they do.
It's aspected to them. Yes.
Because it's ever changing.
Yes.
And goes in a consistent direction normally.
Yes, which means if you don't follow their river, they're going to make sure that the environment's going to mess you up.
The only thing you don't want to end
Because
up in
they-
is an oxbow lake, where the river changes and then you're abandoned.
Also known as a billabong.
Yes. Yes. Look out for bunyips.
No, and Yalarum in the setting, the gods moved the river.
Mm-hmm.
They moved
Twice.
the
Yeah.
river. Right.
So they turned a lush area into a desert.
Yes.
Because
Having
they felt like it.
having recently listened to a history of basically each of the different areas, the elves nicked their rainfall, and then the gods made the river that remained go underground.
And
So
it was
their
all
water was-
because the
yes.
society was being eradicated by one of the gods. So he arranged for the other cultures to screw them over.
So they probably did so.
And then, as
Yep.
far as everyone knows, that culture never existed
Yeah, because all memory of them went away.
and became illegal to the point where if you ventured into their territory, it would be ripped from your brain. Not erased, ripped. It was
Yes.
always painful.
Yes. And I have read some stuff which means that it is a really bad idea for me to go to certain places because I would have my brain turned inside out.
Yeah, there's a few places that
Well,
Marty's not allowed to go to.
that could have benefits and disbenefits. Well, you get to use other bits of your
I've
brain.
had enough of this.
No. No, because it'll also take me to bits to go, right, where did he get that from?
Yeah.
And who else do we need to eradicate?
Yes.
And it'll take me down to the bloody molecular level to find this out. Despite the fact they could find out by ask-key, but no, they don't work like that.
No.
Why
That would assume that you're an equal.
Yes, and they're glantrians, which means, yeah, well, no.
Okay, so yes, how do you propose crossing the three rivers as they join? Each
Careful.
river being more than a mile in width and then becoming close to 3 miles as they connect together. With the majority of the crocodilies, or however you want to refer to the crocodiles of extreme large size, being that is their central mating area.
I could fly everybody across. Yes, it's going to be one at a time, but do it at like 5 foot altitude, so I'm not up on my flying carpet.
Because it was.
And
We-
hope it ends up
'Cause
not
we
doing weird
Don't
shit.
have any mounts with us.
You don't have any mounts with you because you made the decision that no mounts could come in for some reason, but you didn't tell anyone why.
So we left them all behind,
It was a smart idea, duh.
which means I could have mine. Mine's
you could-
No, mine's summoned,
You would have to resummon.
which is fine. I'm used to doing that.
Do you want to summon in this area? Is the question.
Which is another issue.
Because it may not be the Fey one coming, it may be the Dark Fey one coming.
No.
That's dangerous.
And you may not be able to unsummon it.
That's another problem.
Yeah.
Well, of course, once it turns up, it's going to want to stay around. I have to banish it.
And it may not actually summon, it may just step through.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, because I'm giving you an invite.
It's like, welcome to my home! Oh
So,
crap.
And since we
So,
don't have
the
Calcris
thing-
with us, it means we are stuck with Dracula
Well-
with his flying flute, and you with the flying.
Drazzle can fly?
yeah.
Drazzle can fly. Can Drazzle carry?
Yeah, he's strong enough. He carried one person.
carry people.
Yeah.
Nobody can.
Very rarely.
I'm pretty
At
sure
this-
he can.
At the size he's at now, I don't think.
He's
It's
all
cold.
you have to be is be strong enough to hold a person up and then fly for a mile. He might have to rest for 20 minutes between each one.
But where are you going to rest
But-
on the crocodiles?
No, on the other side.
You better
But-
relax.
Going on the surface of the water is contraindicated for several different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Above it is really the only way.
Yeah, because going
My
on the
carpet's
surface.
basically it. And none of my spells are useful at that sort of way.
Because even like if we were to make like a crude raft and then probably jet ski flown across or whatever, it's still making ripples on the water, which you don't necessarily want to do.
No, we don't want to be touching the water because so do crocodiles.
Yeah.
And whatever fish are in there. And also we don't want to annoy any bloody river fae.
And the water has the potential of erasing magic.
Ooh, we don't want that.
That would be fun.
That's not pleasant. I'm presuming I found that out when I got some water for dinner. Oh, I can feel it in the water.
Well, whatever it touches has a drop of water on it. It has no magic.
Yeah. Yes.
So don't do that. Okay.
Because it's all designed as a various ways to keep the world as it is.
It's all protecty stuff. It's all magical barriers
So it is
and stops.
potentially that the slow flying across where it's the like fox, chicken, and feed problem of how to get across.
No, not really, because we're likely to actually want to eat each other. All we have is, I've got a 2-seater carpet, there's this many of us, I can figure across one person at a time.
Yeah.
We don't have any constraints to lose at each
Te-
end.
technically, if you dump all of our Father Pat stuff on the carpet with you, Drazzle and Drachnima together could carry Father Pat.
Okay.
Hang on.
I don't know if Father Pat would be open to that.
I'm not sure I want to get naked.
No, down to clothing.
No, just down to
Yeah, but your armour and weapon is a load. And my carpet's not
The other thing to think of is we have an indication of how high we can fly.
I'm going to be going for about 10 feet. We've got-
Jack Dimmer strongly suggests you want to be looking at probably at least 50.
Because of jumping crocodiles.
Exactly. Think about the fact that anti crocodiles can leap 10 feet out of the water.
I will quite happily go for that. The other thing is, if we're that far up, we're far less likely to annoy any potential fae.
Especially the water fae.
Well, the water fae. Water shooting fish. There are fish that shoot things in the air. If you get yes, archerfish. If you get a dire archerfish, spits at us, hits the carpet, we're in the water.
We're certainly aware that flying in some parts of the Isle of Dread were definitely contraindicated.
Yes.
I can't remember off the top of my head whether or not this area was one of those places.
It was
We were talking about it before.
it was above the mountains, above the treetops.
Yeah.
But they, in this case, the main threat in the valley is the pterodactyls.
Yeah, which means we've
Yeah.
actually got a reasonable flight ceiling here, as long as we stick to just above the river and don't go too high. Going much above 50, 100 feet is just, I don't think we need to go that high.
That becomes then a threat to pterodactyls.
I know, exactly.
Well, it's
So-
also the fact that, like, I would definitely be looking at that option then, simply because
Oh yeah,
if
no,
nothing else,
no.
I mean,
You don't
the
need.
pterodactyl
don't need-
become the
don't need
only
any-
likely
You
threat.
don't need any more reasoning. It's a good idea. I've said that.
Yeah.
So yes, we'll go with somewhere at 50 or 75 feet.
Mm-hmm.
One person at a time,
Yeah.
and Pat's gear.
I would say would
So
Ruel and Pat fit onto the carpet with having all this stuff, and then me being carried by Dracula and
That could do as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That way we don't have to worry about somebody not having a weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we get everybody across, and nobody on their own,
Yeah.
which, even though you're tough.
Yeah.
So amongst Lani's skills,
I
without
have.
making any comment on cooking skills, musical skills. What's his musical skills like?
My which one?
What is your musical skills like?
Oh, I'm actually pretty good. I am proficient in bongo, flute, lute, and vocals.
Cool.
Dracula might be willing to lend you his whistle.
How long does the flight last for?
15 minutes? Oh, for that thing? It's context.
Well,
As long as you're.
it's part of the process of how long you can play for.
It's a
Okay,
contract,
but
it's in the item.
It's the sort of thing that if Lani has the flute for the trip, then if there's anything going wrong and Dracnima and or Drazel have to let Lani go temporarily,
She could fly herself.
there's the potential for actually at least getting yourself above level type stuff.
I mean, I am proficient in flute, so it could work.
Yes.
Yeah, like I say, if you're proficient in flute, that will count. So,
It's like having a featherfall ring just in case.
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so you have your plans. Does Father Pat feel happy getting on back of the carpet? Do you actually go in full armor on the carpet, or do you take off the armor just in case you end up in the river?
He takes off the armor just in case he ends up in the river. He's not stupid.
I have to ask, because some people are like, no, I'll always wear the armor and then end up in the river.
No, he'll take the armor off.
Because if you wear the armour, he'll put you in the river.
Yeah.
I have the sword and the shield. That will be sufficient. Yeah.
And I would recommend that rather than trying to carry Lani between us with an arm or something each, we basically grab a blanket and Lani can basically sit rolled up in the blanket type stuff, which then makes it a lot more maneuverability for wings to actually.
Sounds
So-
like I have a cool hammock. Is what it sounds like.
So you get the flying carpet level half.
I get the more comfortable flying carpet because I get a hammock.
Except it goes up and down on both sides.
So you get rocked. It's great.
This is fine.
Yeah,
So
put your elbows
somebody
out
wake
so
Lani
you
up,
stop
she's fallen to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, put your elbows out so you're just being pushed back and
Rock
forth
my
rather than flapped around.
baby
Yeah,
in the
it's
treetop.
Then we were not like wrapping up kind of thing. Lani will try to keep some kind of opening that should they have to drop her, she's not going to get caught up in whatever blanket kind of thing. We want to avoid that.
It's not like Lani's going to get seasick.
There have been.
It would be funny if she got airsick instead of seasick.
Yeah,
would be
there are famous people of the sea who have been seasick,
Yes.
including famous admirals. Just not very
Well,
common.
but actually, the idea that, yes, there is a difference between seasick
Yeah,
and
well,
airsick,
big way.
even though the
Yeah.
emotions might be similar.
Yep.
Spruce was a
Spruce
tourist.
was.
Tourist
There's
being seasick.
yeah. There's a couple of the major names of the Age of Sail as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically, once they got to the battlefield, they would then finish throwing up,
Get
have
the
a
job
drink,
done.
get changed, wash their face, and go out on deck.
Mm.
Where all it's doing is this a bit rather than the sailing through waves. And then they would command and hope for someone to hold them up while they're doing things.
Okay, so it is almost a day afloat. You are watching the sun come up and over as you go across.
And it does change.
It does change.
This is when we see it.
And this is the muggiest part of the island you've been in. It almost feels as if you're moving through water.
So we're in North Vista.
Yes.
The tropical jungle was less moist than this valley.
Yeah, so it feels like we're literally swimming through the air.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much so that a lightning bolt here would literally be an area effect on its way through.
Oh,
Right.
ow.
Don't throw the trident unless
No.
you're away from it. Got it.
Who's got the trident?
Me.
Her.
It's
her,
Sparky.
it's her lightning trident.
Yeah.
Which means every time she grabs it, she lights up like Christmas.
Yes,
Yay.
especially here.
Yeah, to this way.
Yes, and both your flies suddenly just start jerking and drop.
Yeah, no. It's a
You're an
family
air,
heirloom.
you're an air of effect taser.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Returning lightning trident, very useful thing.
Yo.
And allows you being able to talk to fish as well, isn't it?
No.
No, that's a different.
No, it also has an attachment that allows it to cut through time.
Yes.
Yes, that's the thing. It
It
turns into a
turns,
scythe.
it turns into a scythe and allows me to cut through time. So that when we mess up, I just reset things, which explains how we got here. It was a gift to myself.
But you have to remember to give to yourself.
Yeah, in the future.
It's alright, she's got time.
I'm sure just like Bill and Ted, if you forget to do it, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you chose not to wade or fight, you managed to avoid most of the threats along the way.
I'm clear with all of the threats along the way, not just most of them.
Well-
But I'll take that.
There are mosquitoes of unusual size.
Yeah, I have to shoot them on the way through.
And luckily for you, you do have a mobile mosquito squatter.
Hmm. Right.
Like a little African circuits.
Also, I'm swatting them away because I'm using the knockback.
Yeah.
So every time Lani grabs the trident, she attracts more.
It's a
Follow
light.
the light!
Oh, it's so shiny.
I know, but when they get to her, because she's a bug zapper.
Yeah.
Yes. Does not want to be flying.
No.
Great. If you could just stand there holding that while I cook, we can ignore.
Yeah, it was much more easier.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can not have to worry about the bugs. Yeah. The advantage I've got with the way I do cooking is I can do a meal that would normally take 6 or 7 hours to actually prepare and cook and do it in 10 minutes.
Good air fryer.
Yes.
After you fly for
And
about
marinade.
10 miles across the river crossing and then up the side river, you spy a landing with stairs running beside the river.
That looked promising. And not muddy,
No.
which has advantages. Let us aim at that.
Completely convenient and definitely not suspicious. Let's land there.
Yeah. It's got GM fit. It's got
It's
GM fee written on it. Yeah.
Let's see this gift. Let's check all of this gift to see.
Yes.
Land on the landing. Look under the landing for the mimic.
Or the troll. Thinks it's his bridge.
The troll sitting on a mimic chair.
The landing looks like it was carved by hand
Mm-hmm.
by a rather unskilled person.
Carved out of the rock rather than built.
Mhm.
Okay.
Does it almost look like the previous shrine sites carved?
Those ones looked a little more organic and grown.
Yeah.
This one definitely looks like someone has gone to town on it.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
cut
like
it rather
actually
than
tried to
shaping the
apply
rock
it.
to shape.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you see Lani and Calcreek's insignia on the
Mm-hmm.
side of it.
We worked hard on this.
You don't remember doing this.
At some point.
But you're sure you were actually here. You never quite learned stone cutting that well.
I'm good at a lot of things. Not cooking.
Not cooking. Except cooking.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, this is why you ask for help. But this is one of those.
Yeah,
things
but
where-
don't forget you need to practice either.
But like, this is the thing. Lani is a human. She can learn things very fast. That doesn't mean that she's good at the things that she learns.
Yes,
And-
you've still got your stats as a base.
And she has apparently a lot of time to learn a lot of things, so she's gonna try to learn as many things as possible.
Yes, but this is why it's worth. This is why you get an expertise level and specialization.
No, learn everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to learn it well, just has to learn it.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, but you go, okay, it's all my skills, I just got to expertise on each one.
After I have to get the other ones down first, and then we'll move on.
Well,
Yeah,
as a fighter, she's become the bard.
That's essentially what's
Yes.
happened.
A bard's going to have a lot easier time of it, but yeah.
I was yeah, I'm an unofficial bard with my jack of all trades
Yes.
stuff.
Bards,
She didn't buy a jack of all trades ability, she just learnt all trades.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is just I'm doing it the
Yeah.
hard way.
Yes. Oh, yeah, but you hit things up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're a bard that's actually useful in combat.
That's it.
And doesn't sing much.
No, it doesn't use silent spells.
No.
Except by hitting someone with a trident. Shut
Though
up, Biff!
at this point she is able to
Mm.
learn a couple cantrips, may or not learn.
Yeah.
Vicious mockery. At some point.
No, vicious mockery would be fun.
Yeah.
It was outside wizardy stuff though.
No. She
think-
actually learned practical stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
She'll insult people by hitting them in the face.
yes. A couple more skills, and I can call myself a bard with skills.
Yeah.
So I could now.
Okay, from this landing you can't see the where the river goes, but you can see where the river came from.
Okay.
Just disappears. Later.
Well, the landing itself is looking towards the source of the river, not where the river goes.
Yeah.
And it's done in such a way that unless you were flying, you couldn't see it.
Right.
Right. So carefully placed. So you got to remember to do this later.
And it's not smooth standing on either. It's sort of sloped in an odd way,
So then
heading.
it drains off, obviously, for the rain. Duh. Drains what off? Water, blood. Take your pick.
Stands with 1 foot higher than the other one. You don't need this much slope, surely.
I'm sure it's well designed for dragon feet.
Absolutely.
Well, each of the steps that you see is about 10 feet in depth.
That's distinctly notable. And
Calcrix was in charge of the steps, and she was a little bit bigger.
So it's step, walk, 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 step, walk, 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 step, walk, walk, walk.
She was a
Right.
little bit bigger
So
at the
it's-
time.
so it's
and
not
she
so much
designed it.
not so much a set of steps as a procession
Should've
that
been
raises stepwise
Stages, yeah.
A tiered pathway.
with a wide
Exactly.
with a,
Tiered pathways. You
with
go
a, with
right
a weird side slope.
Neither one of us claim to be engineers.
And not one
That's
step
why-
is uniform in size. They're basically curved, angled, sort of loop bit on itself.
A tiered pathway in tune with the environment and the landscape.
Very much so.
Lani, your step work, your stonework makes my brain hurt. I'm sorry.
I see no fault with this. This is
That's
perfectly
what's
fine.
making my brain hurt.
It's working, doesn't it? It's much like my cooking. It's working, doesn't it?
How about the next time you do a set of steps, you get me into hell?
Oh, that's good dwarf.
Jack will kind of come to Plural and say, "What do you mean next time? They probably tried half a dozen times."
Yes, that's what worried me.
Or get a dwarf, as she said
Jack
herself.
is more than happy and will again take lead and scout as we go along.
Yes.
And the stairs themselves are sharp enough to only have been carved maybe 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so they're fresh-ish.
Yes. But she went back in time to do it in a century. That sort of thing.
I did
Or
it at
10
some
years.
point.
Yes.
I feel like that's gonna be Lani's catchphrase. I did it at some point.
Yes.
Yes, and you needed a way onto the island that wasn't going to kill you.
Yes.
Exactly right.
At least not every time.
Yeah. Having learned that dragons are one of the few things that can fly here.
Makes sense.
So if I turned into it, no.
If you turn into a dragon, you could fly here. You might not be able to fly on the island, but you can fly here.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, and at the moment I can only sort of turn a bit dragony.
Growing the wings is enough to give you the flight.
That's 2 circles away though.
So, watching the stairs go deeper, you realize that the stairs are starting to be carved into the mountain instead of along the mountain, as the river itself is going into the mountain, not down the mountain.
Okay.
Right, yep.
So it's
Okay,
a hugely
goodbye,
wide river
stairs.
coming out of a spring. Wow. Well, there's elemental, all sorts of fun involved with this, so yeah.
And looking ahead, you can see a brilliant blue glow deep in the path ahead.
Is it flickering?
Not flickering at all.
Glowing? It's just not,
What?
just not changing brightness or anything like that. It's not. It's just a steady glow.
A very strong blue glow.
Right.
What sort of blue? Is that the sort of blue you'd expect of, say, a large protean creature?
Well,
Or
so-
magic emanations? Or
I'll give you an Arcana check.
we can go with that.
Yeah.
So I get
How far away does it appear this blue glow is emanating from? Are we actually in a tunnel type effect now?
You're starting as soon as you started to head into a tunnel is when you could see it.
25.
Locked.
25. Looking at it, it is definitely the blue of a that you'd associate with the deep sea.
Okay, I will tell the others. It is a deep sea blue. It is not ice or arcane.
Is it reminding us of the land of the corkscrew?
In a way, because hey, that changed completely the moment you arrived, but it was always that way.
Yeah. And this is the sort of, it's the deep blue of the deep sea that normally has no light. It's only blue because it's up here, sort of thing.
Yep.
The reflection of the cloudless sky with the full colour.
It's starting to strike me as this is the origin of the river, and this is the water source that the river comes from.
Correct.
Which way is the current flowing?
Which means
The current is flowing towards you.
Protean being.
As you're looking towards this bright light, and the current's coming towards you.
So
this is where-
current it's originating.
Yes, the head of the spring.
Who's going up first?
Magnero's happy to
Where's our scout?
Yeah, he's already up front. That's Dracnima.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jeremy, Dracnima finds himself standing at a landing looking into what appears to be a lake with a temple in the center of the lake. There are stalagmites and stalactites throughout this chamber,
Mm-hmm.
and the water itself is rippling with movement.
How big is this lake, or how far is it to the temple in the centre type stuff?
It is 60 feet to the temple.
Does it
So
look
if
like
something
there's
like this-
And does it appear to be like an island in the centre, or is it probably just on the other side of the lake type stuff?
You can't see where the lake goes beyond it, but you can't also see where the walls go. The stalactites and stalagmites are thick enough that you can't see, but they're close enough that you could potentially leap 10 to 20 feet between them.
Yeah.
I mean, is it poking up through the lake?
They are poking up through the lake and dropping down from the ceiling.
And
Yep.
Sometimes they match and make a pillar.
yeah, well, they should match even if they don't. Generally, unless someone's been breaking them off.
There are
But-
breaks in the ceiling as you look
Yeah.
up.
I'm presuming given the river we crossed getting up here, this cavern is going to be wide enough for a very wide river to come out.
And the lake itself feels very still, with the pouring out over the top of the lake being the source of the river.
Yeah.
Are there any evidence of higher of flow lines higher up on the walls?
Very hard to tell. Everything's in shades of deep blue.
I get the impression the surface of this lake is actually the portal to to where this water is coming from. So the lake itself doesn't need to move
No.
because it's the source.
You certainly shouldn't get stalactite coming up from the floor through the bottom of the lake. The lake would have to have come after the stalactite.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely
yeah.
correct. Yeah.
That's the thing. The cavern formed and then they put a lake in it,
Yeah.
or it's been a lake and then it wasn't a lake and then it was a lake again.
And how high above is the ceiling appear to be?
The ceiling goes up at least 100 feet above the surface of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Do the stalactites have rings or edging around them that suggest higher water levels?
None of the ones from the ceiling do, but the ones growing out of the water do have various rings on them.
Yeah.
You're thinking why there's some missing from below is they may have been washed away.
Yeah. Okay.
Which means there's been floods coming out of this water. But I'd still say the water itself is the source, not part of the flow process.
And as you watch, a wave comes out over the lake, and you see a wall of water go down the river.
Cool.
With the sounds of
we
slight
got- actually
splashing.
see-
What was that, Jeremy?
Do we see any features of this temple?
The
As to
temple
what?
temple itself is very pyramid-like from the outside, but it has columns holding up the edges of it
Okay.
as it rises on 5 points.
Yep.
5-sided pyramid.
And Is this the pyramid, like when it's the kind of rises type stuff? Does that mean it's actually on pillars of rises out of the lake, or is it actually on an island in the middle of the lake?
It looks to be on an island, but you do see that water does occasionally go across it.
Yep.
As it's currently wet after the wave passed.
Yep.
You do hear some sounds of water dripping coming from the back of the temple. You sure there is something in here with you?
Yes.
Can we see any evidence of traps or things like that on the edge of the lake? If the idea that whatever might be in with us can get out of the water?
There are no tracks on this side. But that doesn't mean there aren't tracks further in.
Correct.
Yeah, no, it's what I thought. It's good.
Lani has been carrying the crown with her. Is she feeling any type of pull with the crown towards, I'm guessing, the temple?
Well, you were told it would have been in a temple down here.
Yeah.
This is roughly where you're told to go, but like all these things, they don't actually give you instructions until after you've used it.
No.
That's right,
no,
yeah.
no. So she's not feeling anything particularly special.
The instructions you left yourself weren't that clear.
The only instructions I knew is don't put it on until you're
don't
there, and like I could feel sometimes a pull from it, but outside of that,
You remember about sitting on a throne.
I have to sit on the throne and then
Because
put the crown
if you
on.
put the crown on before you sit on the
Doesn't
throne,
work.
well, you've told yourself not to do that.
Yeah.
It'll do something.
And you wouldn't have.
The answer is don't do
and you know
that.
what you're like. You wouldn't have told yourself that if it didn't mean something.
Yeah, exactly. The answer is definitely don't do that. That's why I wasn't allowed to. Wasn't allowed to wear it, even though I wanted to.
It's Queen.
It's pretty.
Yes.
Who can pass up a crown or a diadem or a tiara and not put it on their head?
Me.
Of course not. Says the person wearing a tiara on his head.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, so.
Yeah.
A very magical one.
Yes. So I guess we try to find our best pathway through that's potentially the safest.
Is it going to be easier to do the same technique to fly across?
Almost definitely. Well, actually,
Obviously, it's a lot simpler, a lot shorter.
yes, we just want to be high enough up that we're not going to hit any of the stalagmites by accident or any sudden wave as it comes up. We saw that when it came up. We don't want to be hit with that.
Yeah.
Plus, of course, we don't know if there are any sneaky crocodiles or whatever in the water up here either.
Well, especially if we feel
Cave
as
fish.
if there's something in there with us.
Yes.
Okay, so
Cave snake.
I will give Drachnamar a perception roll as he was the scout looking ahead.
Yes.
Yep. Right. D20 and D8 gives me a total of 9 plus 14, 23.
Okay.
So not so bad. It just sounded like it was going to be particularly horrible for you.
Yes.
It wasn't a bad effort from Jack Dimmer, but obviously it's still a decent perception.
Okay, so Drachnamar does spot a section of the blue water that is darker than the rest, and inside of it he can see what appears to be a fish head the size of a horse's head, looking at him.
And how far are we from the island at that point?
It's,
This one we're starting to fly across, is it?
this is before you fly across. It is
Okay.
between you and the island.
Right.
Yep.
So it's a guardian of sorts.
Yeah. Well, I will point out that, yes, the lake is definitely occupied.
Can you talk to them?
I was gonna
Can
say,
this guy talk about the
would
water?
we be able to like? Does Dracula point it out to? Well, he just said he pointed it out.
And I'll point out the darker patch in the water type stuff.
Right.
Would in Lani's sailing history, would she have heard of any type of creature that matches the description she can see currently?
From what you can see, it looks like a large fish head.
So
But-
it's a big
What
old
type of
fish
fish?
shitter.
Carnivorous.
A carnivorous fish head, because it has teeth.
Right.
But it's, think of nightmare fuel fish head.
Yeah.
That's the closest you can come up with.
So pike.
Yeah.
They're good nightmare fuel.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
And the eyes are flicking between the party members, with both eyes seem to be looking at different characters. So it's able to move its eyes independently.
Good fish chameleon.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of fish can technically move its eyes independently because they're on the side of their heads. A handy ability to have if you have prey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So it definitely looks like this thing. It lives here. It guards here. This is its hunting ground.
And there's no reason to kill it if we don't need to. Again, we can probably fly over the top.
The question becomes: is this more beastie or is this more spiritual guardian? How to determine that? We would have to
Either way.
investigate more.
Preferable not to kill it.
I would, definitely prefer
Not no fuel.
Oh, Gar, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the picture there?
Yeah. It's a gar. And
Alligator
that's a normal
Yeah.
one, and I'm presuming the one we've got to dire one.
Well, think of a squished in snout, but with lots of teeth.
Well, that's the thing. This is quite narrow.
No, I mean as
No,
in
like
short nose.
Okay. In that case, we are looking
Closer to what a frog may look like, but as a fish.
A little bit more piranha-esque.
In the 60 foot or so between us and the island,
Mm-hmm.
how many stepping stone or stalagmites are poking out of the water that would be at least viable stopping points?
Well, you've got three different approaches, each coming at the temple from towards one of the points.
Can we actually walk all the way around the lake?
No, the landing stops at the lake's edge, and there is no path into the cavern.
Yeah, that was my first picture was thinking, yeah, it's going to be effectively where hang on. Double check we haven't got next to the lake that we can walk around.
And if the landing wasn't about 10 feet above the water, then when the wave came, it would have completely drenched everyone.
Yes.
Is this thing the thing making the wave? There you go, that's something.
Gotta find out what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks later, except imagine all those two big spiky teeth at front cover both the upper and lower side.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got teethy bits at the top as well.
I prefer to have the without teeth.
Yeah.
Well, the teeth look to be as big as a normal person's hand.
How do you
So it doesn't matter what the shape are, it's all painful.
I would offer my delicious cooking, but according to my compatriots, it may not be as delicious as I believe.
I think you're cooking.
I think you're being dishonest with yourself. I think you need to have a chat with your
You don't
your
get through
confessor.
this. You don't get through this far in life without being a little bit delusional. Trying to think.
As you're thinking, you do hear a thought in your mind going, well, yes, you're sure that an offering of you cooking one of your friends would be perfectly fine. That seems to attach to your offering of cooking.
Well, I will think out loud so that everybody else can hear me. That
Yes.
unfortunately, it was a vegetarian dish, so there will be no friends attached to said cooking.
Then you also find that she says on the end of that, except for the elf.
Except for the elf, yes. Elves being vegetables.
That's what you want.
Yeah, it does look fairly close.
So, yes.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
now that I'm
Yeah.
very obviously talking to something,
Don't forget tigerfish.
I will
Yep. Hydro
say crazily out loud.
Yeah. Giant tigerfish. That's right.
Great Guardian.
Goliath
We
tigerfish.
have come to seek out the temple so that I may seek the throne to become the Empress of the Waves.
And then she adds, unless I die in the act and kill everyone with me.
Why are we saying these things?
Well, to be fair, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But apparently it need to be said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Got to be clear.
What may you require for us to pass safely?
Besides the head of my companions.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm sure people are starting to get itchy necks at this stage.
Yeah.
I could prepare him a meal that would be suitable for someone like him.
Does it have meat in it?
It will do once I'm done,
Will it have intelligent meat in
because
it?
I'm using create food and water, which turns into food that is appropriate for who I'm making it for, so it may even taste like human. But I'm not going to tell anybody this. I'm making a meal for the fish. And I'm going to take the cast at a high enough, do it at a high enough level that I can make enough supply for a fish that big.
So what you were repeating back, was that what Lani was saying?
That's what Lani kept saying at the end of her sentences. So it sounded like Lani was saying it.
So
Whilst
you're
I'm
making
perfectly in
sure that-
favour of providing an offering to the Guardian, if that will allow us to enter the temple safely, I'm not certain that necessarily will solve the problem of getting there, unless we're going to fly over there, or first we're going to jump from stalactite to stalactite. And if we were going to fly over there, then technically we probably don't need to worry about the Guardian.
Yes, but I also wouldn't want to piss him off. So making it so that he's going to either allow us to get across the non-flying way, I'm presuming there is one, or just not leap up us and bite us out of the air, would allow us to get to it. But I don't want to annoy him doing so. So yeah, we'll make nice to him for now, and find out what we need to do. And if we happen to have not needed him, well, we've got someone on our side up this end, which has its own uses.
And yet you notice none of them have anything added to the end of their sentences.
Correct. Yeah, and I don't think they've noticed that is not in Lani's intention to add that to the end of the sentence. So I'm currently I'm to myself thinking through, wait, hold on. Why are my thoughts being added to?
Because I really want to do this, you feel yourself think.
Yeah, because I really want to do
And
this.
why is the party quite happy to accept the attendance on your statements?
You've programmed yourself for the task ahead.
I'm thinking there's some kind of connection to this thing.
Yes. That's why you made sure you programmed yourself for it.
And brought simpletons along to help you.
That sounds like something future me would say. Not gonna lie.
Yes, it is.
We saw how this went last time with the village of Lani. Then
She knows how smart we are. We'll still say things like that.
I'm trying to think this through. I'm not that smart.
Ask for help.
I can't, because you don't realize that I'm having things added to my brain. This just sounds like.
So don't ask me for help, ask Basil.
This just sounds like Lani. I will turn to Drazzle.
You turn and look for him, he's not there.
Of course not.
You're not sure when he wasn't there, but he didn't seem to follow you up the stairs.
Yep. He didn't like my craftsmanship. I get it, Drazzle.
Which then obviously makes it more challenging to do the fly across.
And also potentially he can't help you.
Correct. It may be that he's not supposed to be here. So. What if Lani is the one to choose the path forward because
You know how they all die. You think.
So Lani will choose the one where they do not die and are not harmed.
But have lots of mental anguish.
Exactly.
But at this stage, that's acceptable. where they are not They do not know. So Lani will choose the path forward. I will choose the path forward, where no one will die, and or become harmed physically or psychologically in any significant way.
It
And
doesn't exclude your cookie, so that's okay.
that's by dying of old age, Lani says.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I don't know how much I should accept that. Because I don't know what kind of magic's around here, but you know what? I can take it.
It could have been a hell of a lot worse.
I will move forward with determination as previously stated.
Okay, so that will be an athletics check to see if you can leap onto one of the stalactites or stalagmites.
Mites.
Well,
A stalagmite
hang on.
might reach the ceiling. That's
So
how
we can still go for flying. It's only 60 feet, so therefore Lani can use the whistle to get fly across 60 feet with no problem.
But we don't know how high that fish can jump.
Yeah.
Be a jumping fish.
Or potentially spit.
Lani,
Yes.
We could try the rope
I'm
line
betting
as well.
I was gonna say,
I'm betting that if you're talking about comparing it to jumping from stalagmite or to stalactite, whichever way you want to call
so
them,
Lani, before Lani, sorry,
then that's at lower height than flying.
what Lani will
Yes.
do before moving, she will look at everybody, do the whole look at me. I am moving forward on this path. You will follow me. And then she will go.
And as she's going in, she says, and die.
Yeah. The altitude thing is why I was talking about making nice to the fish and getting it to agree to let us pass. We don't have to worry about altitude at that point.
I will give
so
Lowell an insight at this point as well as Father Pat.
Yeah. In terms, and then I'll give you my athletics check when you're ready. Thank God that is my best skill.
It's not quite my best. However, I got an expertise die. I got a really nice roll in the D20.
19 plus God only knows what.
What is your wisdom bonus?
Pretty good.
Not necessarily.
Well, you go to paladin.
Okay, and are you trained in insight?
No.
Okay, so that'd be a 23 then. And what was yours?
32.
Okay, so Father Pat gets a lot of flashbacks to the voice he hears at that point because he makes connections that just make him question the everything that Lani's been saying. And Lowell picks up that some of the words have abyssal accents to it.
Lani, stop.
I do speak this.
Yes.
You're not helping.
There's an abyssal accent to some of the words that you had said. Those are not your words. They're not your words from the future.
You see
That
this, and then this
you.
just comes up in front of you.
Have a look at your left hand.
It's existing.
It was thumbs down. So, Lani, no.
I just need to
No.
move forward. It's fine.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's good.
You're being pushed
Nah.
by something that should not be doing this and you should not listen to.
Nah, I got this figured out. It's fine.
No, you haven't.
And then you hear Lani say, I know exactly what I'm doing.
And that's exactly the problem. You're being manipulated.
And it's not actually making her make a will save because it's not affecting what she says or do. Just add some extra words on the end.
She's just listening to
Greater
you.
clarification.
Hey, there are many ways to have creatures mess with people.
I say this is not a problem. I still don't see the issue. I just need to go. It'll be fine.
You're being manipulated by something abyssal. Therefore, any decision you make at the moment will be wrong and will be bad for you and bad for us.
And you hear from Lani while she's doing that, I'll be fine.
And there's the problem again. No, you won't.
Since I'm not having
really coiling the rope, getting ready to throw.
since I'm not having to do any type of will save, I'm just going.
You can have the argument with her. His father Pat's going to do something about it.
Yeah, if
Oh,
I
yeah.
hear myself say that, and realizing that that's obviously just not me, then I'm like, since I'm not having to make a will save at this stage, I'm just gonna hold still. I'm just like, and of course, I'm sure whatever thing is making me talk is probably saying, like, nah, dude, it's totally fine. You keep going.
Lani,
No.
Lani, that's fine. If you wish to jump across from teletype to teletype, that's fine. I'm not entirely certain that Father Ted, looking at his peg leg, or
Father Ted. You got renamed.
the flimsy elf.
It is Draknamar after all.
Having quite the athletic ability to follow that pathway. So if you jump from pillar to pillar, Paul can take Father Ted across on his carpet, and I might climb up amongst the ceiling.
Wait there for a moment. I'm going to, please. Just please.
Now
I'm going to approach the edge of the water, not get too close to it. To comprehend languages from my hat.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, you're actually getting words just by looking at the water. The ripples in the water is telling you something.
cool. What's it telling me?
Come in and join me.
I mean, the water's fine.
You're very inviting, but no thank you.
Your sustenance shall make my own better.
But yes,
I will-
but even
I
so,
will
Lani,
ignore the-
I recommend you
I
take
will-
the whistle and demonstrate your skill with the flute.
Pardon? I didn't hear all of that.
He recommended that Lani take the whistle that allows her to fly to the islands in a round.
And
Demonstrate your skill with the flute. While Quill and Father Ted fly across on the carpet.
I was going to do this to make sure that flying across was going to be safe. As I mentioned before, we talked to the fish to make sure it's not going to. Its task is not to leap up and bite anyone out of the air that's flying overhead. Unless you really feel like flying up to ceiling height, go forward 60 feet and come back down again. Which it may respond to anyway.
And as you're looking, you see the words in the water say, "Please try."
I mentioned that to the others. The water is saying, please try that, which means the water itself is going to respond. Remember, if this water touches you, any magic on you goes away. Which means you're going to fall out of the air no matter how you do it, unless you're jumping across physically, and it's probably just going to splash you off whatever you're standing on. It's set up to stop you. And that's not even the fish. I haven't talked to the fish yet. The water will stop you if you try and get across the
Can
island.
I tell if
And whatever
what-
you're listening to is wrong.
can I tell what it is affecting me? Is it the water or the fish?
You can't tell what's affecting you because it's the equivalent of someone's casting an illusion, making it look as if you're seeing stuff.
Fair.
But they're letting you control your own actions and they're just tacking on the end.
They're just
It's a
having
very
fun.
Fey way to do things.
Yeah, they love me. Faye love me. And that's what I'm not happy about.
Not this one.
And Paul, you assume that the language in the water is actually the creature in the water. And its effect on you may be stronger than the effects of it diluted in the river. Especially the darker area around it.
I'm going to step back. So your task then is to make it more than interesting for anyone trying to get to the temple then? Or is it just to attack people that get too close to the water?
His task is to achieve his task.
And that task is?
What time has told him.
You
It doesn't answer the question.
It did answer the question perfectly.
It made a statement in regard to the question. I said, what is the task? Not
who told him the task.
No, what? Not
Okay,
who
yeah,
has
right,
given
yeah.
him the task, and what was the order that was given. What is the task? What is the end result of everything he was told? And he's just being equivocating. Basically, what he's doing by doing that is saying, yes, my job is to stop you getting to the island. What's more, I'm going to be a bastard about it.
As you'd expect, anything that has abyssal as its core tongue would definitely be doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not only that, you may be answering his questions in a completely different order than what he asked them if it has access to time.
And that's
another reason to respond to his answers the way I have. He's answered what I asked in a way that is useful to me without answering my question. By giving me the method of answer as what I was after. So, Lani, that fish is demonic. It's talking to us. I'm presently talking to it. It's not pleasant. It's talking to you. Exactly. So don't listen to it. There's got to be
Lani's really getting to understand travel a lot more.
Yes.
The whole don't talk.
Yes.
And Father Pat starts hearing horns from that final battle where you lost your leg.
As I said, he's just got the rope ready to lasso her when she needs it.
And it seems as if the horns are coming up the passageway behind you.
Trying to get you to move along.
Okay. You can turn around and look behind him.
While you're not really prone to fear, it really does make your heart race.
Yeah.
Because it's all the flashbacks of the day you lost your leg are hitting you right now. Except that each time, it's always your fault.
Oh dear.
It's not how you remember it, but it's always your fault. That makes you think that because you went to Rockholm, that's why your city fell. Because you weren't there.
Right.
And I believe this implicitly.
You don't believe this, this is all your thoughts, even though it's like,
I know this
what?
is true.
You sort of feel a little bit of it, but it's not your thoughts.
I'm aware they're not my thoughts.
And I have,
But it still messes with you.
And I have just been talking about that. I've only just said that fish is demonic, and it's affecting your mind. And then you start getting these thoughts. It's sort of a bit. It's not a coincidence.
Which means it's not forcing you to do anything, it's just giving you those impressions.
Yes. Tell us what I was 0. I suspect I'm actually thinking that I'm not aware that these are not my thoughts.
Yes. But
Well, give me a insight roll. You got a +4 to that.
Sorry?
You got a +4 to that.
praying would be
Oh,
useful.
good. It makes it 12.
Praying would be useful to you.
It's not your usual thoughts, you know that.
Right. Okay.
But of course, that doesn't mean it's not
They're not
normal
real.
for now.
Yeah.
It's normal for there being a demonic creature nearby, giving out bad thoughts.
And Drachmir can just hear really deep, dark chuckle coming from the lake. That's all he can
From the
hear.
lake.
From the lake.
Not your leg.
Lake.
The
The lake itself. The lake, not your leg. But I can have it come from your leg if you prefer.
The fish is laughing at us.
And he also, in the middle of the laughing, he hears, fly, little fish, fly.
He wants it just to get closer.
He wants dinner.
It's still the opinion that, well, I mean, yes, as I say, if we can appease the Guardian, well and good, but even if the fish continues to fly across, that still seems unsafe to then try to swim.
Well, yes. The thing is, now we know that, or at least I know, and I've told you about it, that this fish is demonic, or at least being affected by something demonic. Appeasing it isn't actually going to be that useful.
Yeah, well, I'm not totally sure that you're right. You're right either. So I'm beginning to think that
If you can determine that fish is not demonic, go for it. You've got detect good and evil, don't
Well,
you?
give me a religion roll for Father Pat.
Yeah, you're the best one for it.
Not necessarily.
17.
17. And are you trained in religion?
I don't think so. I don't know what I'm really trained in.
Paladin!
I'm learning to be trained in religion. I probably am. I
I was
have.
gonna say you probably are.
I haven't worked out how.
I would have
skill-
assumed insight and religion were things you would have been trained in because
Yes.
they are fairly key to
Paladin.
not falling as a paladin.
Yeah.
And
Because
also-
they're the things that keep you from falling off your oath.
Yes.
All right. So let's assume I have trained.
Okay, in which case then
Yeah.
it would be add 8 to the result,
So 25.
which is not a bad thing.
Mm.
Okay, so you do recognize the horrificness of the creature.
Right.
It is a fiend known as Race-Rilith. It is an aquatic corrupt creature that can pretty much hit people with toxic water that pretty much burns magic away.
Right.
And it can actually grab you with the water it spits at you and pull you back towards it.
And we know. Okay. Let's see what.
That's intense.
That's the water version of my Eldritch Blast.
It is quite a nasty creature.
With
That
16, would I have any idea of the range, a safe range to be away from this?
there is no safe range.
Okay.
You've entered its domain. Even if you were to turn around and start to leave, you're still within its range.
Not safe. It's no longer safe.
You've already challenged it.
Right.
It's how you choose to do the challenge.
We've
Okay.
challenged it by going, no.
We challenged it by being like,
You entered its domain, that was all the challenge it needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And while you can reason with them, all the reasoning is generally about putting you into a position where it will betray you. It has no intention of honouring any pact, deal, or promise it makes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we know the flying is not going to work. It's not going to get high enough.
There's also the sort of thing that presumably that means that this is not the designated guardian of this temple, or if it is, that is a temple we don't necessarily want to go to.
Yes.
But,
Okay, so you can
it would
pretty much
well-
that's what the creature looks like.
Oh, that's cool.
This seems to
in
be
which
a...
case the creature should be eliminated.
Yeah, I'd say this needs to be eliminated because this appears to be a place of Proteus,
Yeah.
not demonic in any way. In fact, the rest of the lake comes across like that. So,
Yeah.
and the cavern as a whole. So this thing has either been placed here or has got
Or it's
itself
like watching
here.
the waters has got here later itself.
It's decided to come here or has been placed here.
Or it's been to
So-
stop everyone else from reaching here that's not supposed to.
Yeah, but normally you wouldn't use a demonic creature because it's going to find some way. to
Don't
do
blame me
something
for
bad.
future actions.
If you put it here, you did this to yourself.
Correct. I do that to myself a lot.
That's true. Maybe you've overdone it this time.
And you hear Lani saying, adds the words that she set its task. But it doesn't say what the task was and just leaves it at that.
So you put it there. You get rid of it.
I have to think in the future. What task did I give this thing?
And Father Pat knows you could just be messing with her.
No,
Yeah. If it's not messing with her, it's not doing its job.
Yeah, because what task did I give this thing specifically, and how can I trust my own thoughts to even think about what the task
You
is?
can't.
Because it's going to try to block me from thinking about what it's supposed to be.
No, I think you're actually starting from the wrong point there. You're implying that each statement by you was valid, that it said that you placed it.
Yeah.
So I would ignore that statement,
Yes.
and therefore you didn't do anything to yourself.
Yes.
And
But yes,
extra knowledge for Father Pat, it can't control people, but it can use illusions.
Yeah.
And one of the standard illusions it would make is the siren on the sea. Making people think a beautiful woman's waiting for them to row over to.
Cool.
So basically, okay, so I would effectively use my divine sense to identify it.
It is definitely fiendish.
Yeah, okay.
It is definitely probably what you'd say an overwhelming challenge for just you.
Mm-hmm.
What else can I do about this thing?
Lani, in her fighter mind, thinks I would have put this thing here to stop anybody else from getting there, for me to kill it when I got here.
And that would be your plan. You wouldn't have a password. You just kill it.
Yeah.
I'm a fighter. What do you expect?
That's very true.
Well, that relied on the fact that you put it here.
Now, whether or not Lani can trust that thought is a different question entirely.
Yes, because she doesn't know if she put it there or the creature put it there.
Exactly.
She can make an insight.
I would like to. 14.
Okay, you hear the thoughts. If I put it here, why would I want to fight it? I actually had a different approach to getting past it.
I obviously had a very different approach to getting past it, of course.
What's the fucking password?
Password is
Password!
Password is sword to the face.
Why do you think you put it here?
Because you remember this, so you'd know it was you being here. So
Yeah,
you
no,
said
to be
it's something
true.
you would think
To be
of.
fair, I would have remembered putting it here if it was me.
That's only if you did it before you came here.
True. Never mind.
You could have put it here after you came here, but in the past. At which point you won't remember it.
Yep.
Either way,
Well, the
If
only
you-
reason I'm assuming this is because I built the steps with Calcrix. That is the only hint
yes,
I have.
yes.
But not
That
treasure.
just means you've been here before. It doesn't mean you put this here.
There is that.
Well, either way, I do think that maybe like a good sword to the face can solve this problem.
But it won't.
You're looking for a way to go with that plan.
But based off of what we know in terms of what could damage it, radiant damage.
Radiant would have to get it in the water. It would most likely hit the water and stop.
So what you're saying is we want to have it jump out of the water and stab itself up on the stalactites, and so essentially harpoon itself.
Probably not. It's probably smart enough not to do something that very silly.
Yeah.
However, lightning, when it hits the water, is an air effect.
Well,
it can't dodge it. Well,
but that's
difficult to
it's
dodge.
magical lightning, so it would stop it.
Yes, that's true. Which is actually past it.
I will give Father Pat another insight roll.
Can I do a history to see if I know anything enough about these creatures?
Okay, you assume that the assumption that the water stops magic might not be true. Because, well, it keeps getting stated, but no one's tested it.
Okay. Is this my assumption, or is this my mind playing tricks on me?
That you don't know.
Yeah. Oh, this is something that
Well, hang
one
on.
of us said.
So it says here under Earth Resolve, when you are subject to an effect that would alter your behaviour, such as becoming charmed, confused, or frightened, you can use reaction to negate that effect on you. Let's think to ourselves.
You're not charmed, confused, or frightened. You just don't know if that's your thought or not.
Right. Okay. But I'm not an expert. All I can say is I've seen the one time lightning was cast on water, and that had an error effect. Ergo, it will have an error effect.
And so then we'll have Jeremy speak up.
We'll do a light cantrip
Yep.
and allow it to fall to the water. And
Does light have to be cast on something?
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Okay, yes. Okay, I'll grab
Throw a rock and throw a rock
a
in.
stone to the rock
Mhm.
and
Yep.
pop it into the water.
Okay. You see the rock hit the water and sink and still glow.
Cool.
Now I go, I've highlighted the location of the fish, so now I can shoot.
Excellent.
Okay, I will give you an attack roll because it wasn't doing anything at that point. So, but its head was technically above the water still. So Jeremy gets a surprise round on it,
Excellent.
and then everyone gets to roll initiative afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
AC 23.
That is a hit.
Do I technically get sneak attack against it?
You do because it hasn't acted yet. It
Yep.
may be messing with people, but it hasn't initiated combat.
11,
It was working quite well at it too.
Yeah.
22.
Great time.
29 points of piercing damage from a magical bow.
Okay. That is pretty good damage there. And I will get people's initiative.
Uh, 18 for Jack Dimmer.
22 for Lani.
Nice.
What is loyal?
Suck.
Which is bad.
That bad?
Sub 10. 9, actually. So, yeah.
And what about Father Pat?
12. Now,
You can add your perception to it as your
just
bonus.
4,
So that would be 16.
16. Minus 1 for dexterity.
You don't have to minus for dexterity.
Oh,
Level up can use an actual skill.
Right.
And if
okay.
you have bonuses to initiative, that adds to whichever skill you're using.
Right,
You're being-
okay.
So if you're sneaking at the time, stealth is appropriate.
And if you're
Right,
prepped for this, you can use perception.
And if you're climbing, then athletics could be what
Right,
gives you the
okay.
level.
So, because I mean, I when I generate the character in D&D, I used alert, which goes to +4. Now, I don't know when I get
Which
to add
is-
that as well.
You do get to add that because it's initiative. You get to add
Yeah.
that to whichever skill you're doing it with.
Okay.
Yeah, so perception, for example,
Mhm.
if you're training perception particularly, plus the bonus from alert,
Mm.
and then your proficiency modifier.
Oh, I've
sorry,
used
your,
it with-
yeah, you got your stat modifier.
So stat modifier is strength
the skill.
6.
So what's your perception?
Well, wisdom. If it's based on wisdom, it's 4.
Yep. And then 4 from alert.
That's 8.
Add what you rolled.
And it's 12.
So that makes it 20.
20.
There you go. Very nice.
Mhm.
You're damn good at this because you're alert. Very nice.
Okay, so apparently on its roll of a 19, it got a 23 on its initiative. It goes first.
Ah, that's funny.
Yeah, I saw the 19 come up.
Hey, it is funny how good that dice rolls for things.
Yes.
Okay, so it throws a spout of water at Drachnamar,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In retaliation, and Draclamar gets to make a saving throw, strength saving throw, and you have no, you don't have disadvantage yet. You will shortly.
Ow.
Interesting.
The 19.
19. Okay, you manage to hold your ground as you feel it pulling you.
Oh, was it first water that pulled me rather than pushed?
Yep, it basically enveloped and yanked.
Okay, yeah.
As all good magical water does.
Yes.
So it is a creature of water.
Pirate necromancer ship.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
Victorian era model.
So you take a whole 6 points.
To the face.
Make that 8 points of acid damage.
Ooh.
Okay. I'll make that 3 points of acid damage.
That's why I'm specifying what the damage type is.
Yeah, so this is like 4 points of acid damage to resistance in half, isn't it? Not, you've got to take the 5 points of damage resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
4 points of acid.
So
So that auto hit striker, was that the
that was a range effect with a saving throw.
right,
He didn't
okay.
have to roll to do that, but because you succeeded on your strength check, he didn't pull you deep into the water and shove you underneath.
Okay.
Because that is a thing that he does.
Yes, he can manipulate water, which is why he can do symbology with Abyssal and have
Yeah.
Luel read it.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I'm sure he wouldn't really want to know he's translating Abyssal
Oh.
without the nuance.
Yeah.
I am reasonably sure that's exactly what I'm doing because I identified it as an abyssal creature and that there was...
No, I meant the part without the nuance because you didn't want to see all the Abyssal terms.
Yeah.
I just thought, Martin, actually, acid is the earth-based element, isn't it?
Yep. Acid is earth-based.
So technically, with being specifically earth-based multiple times, he takes less acid damage normally, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Is it a proficiency or proficiency?
I believe it will work out to be proficiency plus how many times you've taken it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, yeah.
you've taken it 3 times, so you would have taken 7 less damage.
Okay, so still take 1 point of damage even when it's at half. Okay.
Okay. And it has other attacks. So technically it gets 4 actions on its round.
Interesting.
Ouch.
Well, it's multi-attack. It gets to use its grasping spout and then make 3 attacks.
Okay.
Ow.
Interesting.
At what range is it at though?
It can do the grasping spout at 60 feet, but it has to swim in close to hit people.
Yeah.
Okay, so
moves is totally up.
it moves in close, and then Lani sees the muscular fish head with looks like a 6-pack beneath it, and long spindly arms rise up out of the water as it tries to bite Lani with its enormous sized head.
No, thank you. Okay.
I'm sure it's just a kiss.
So blasting time then, right?
Okay, so that would be armor class 27.
Yes.
Well, this one's in the D12 range.
Love
Ow.
that. It's a great card.
Ow.
It has a lot of teeth.
Does have a lot of teeth. I do get to blastificate though. I will use all of my bits.
29 points of piercing.
I think my hit points are what, 103 right now?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then it goes for 2 claw attacks on you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your con?
I have a pretty hard time.
I know,
Okay, its first claw only comes in at AC 20.
I haven't updated.
Oh,
AC
yeah,
20,
right.
yeah.
That's your hit?
Yeah.
Definitely gonna have to work on that, I think.
Yeah, I think that's one of the other things that I have to update. 'Cause I think my AC right now is only 18.
AC 20 wouldn't get back into it. He's got to wear armor.
So that is 28 points of slashing.
Yeah.
See, I mean,
Lonnie's not looking too.
so I can't use a battle until my turn, is that right?
Well, you have no reaction until you've had your first turn.
Right, okay. That's right.
Unfortunately, with combat, it really screws over those who haven't acted yet. And because you got to go as the first action in the combat round, only the surprise attack managed to get off on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Just
now-
trying to- There is exceptions to that, but they're class based.
Okay, the last one looks like it'll be missed because it's only a 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it drops beneath the water.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
things like a rogue
Look
with
at a little
a
bloody
particular feat can
ass.
actually act during a surprise round.
Extraction time.
So, who's
So,
next?
Next person up is Lani, who's just been beaten up for 57 points of damage in one round.
Yeah.
It's probably the most damage Lani has taken in close to 2 years.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's
Last time being against the Nightwalker.
Yeah, the Nightwalker. Yeah.
Nightwalker almost completely.
Which took some damage in some of the war.
Oh, she did, but the Nightwalker was the last thing that really messed her up.
Yeah, that was the last thing I think it almost nearly killed me. I think.
And as you can see, all the marks on you have black flame burning out of them.
Sick. That's a new tattoo idea. So yeah, I tried it. Something specifically made to cut through the water to stab a fish. This thing's gonna get it in the face, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Hey, what are you?
no.
No, 13.
A 13. Okay, so you think you're throwing it straight, and apparently the reflection in the water really threw you off because it wasn't where you were throwing it,
Yeah, so
Something was
hopefully,
out of the water at the time.
hopefully it comes back.
and then it comes back.
And we're gonna try again with a 29 this time.
Okay, this time you actually hit it.
Yay. Thrown is D6s. Okay.
Meow.
So that is nice. 13.
So my round is going to be heal Lani rather than blast fish.
16.
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
Although I can actually get a shot off.
16 lightning damage.
16 lightning damage.
And
Okay, so he seems to shrug some of it off.
oh, I don't like that.
No.
I was hoping it was gonna be helpful, but apparently not.
Do you have any more attacks?
I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to give other people the chance.
Okay, so that brings us to Father Pat.
Alright.
Apparently, it's now below the water.
Oh.
So it's not attacking us then.
I know it attacked, but in D&D you can move in and move out, and because he can attack Lani from outside Lani's threatened space, it doesn't threaten as it leaves.
So I could use rooted defense on it, which basically says that when I'm standing on assault service, which I am, I can use a bonus action to root myself in place. Roll rooted, your speed becomes 0, but whichever effect would move or lock you prone, i.e. into the water, won't work, and the ground within 10 feet becomes typical terrain.
Nice.
In addition, while you're rooted, a creature with you hit with a melee attack must make a strength save. Well, I think I hit with a melee. It is outside melee range for me, is that correct? Okay.
You can walk up to the edge and then root yourself on the edge.
Okay, I'll walk up the edge and root myself on the edge. At the same time I was saying to Lani, join me, because we're going back to back, which gives us both +2 on our armour class. Then we get rooted ourselves. That's not quite okay.
We're rooted!
You're going to ground yourself.
Ground ourselves, yeah.
Oh no, I just love the completely different connotation for rooted, because
Yeah,
that's
that was
literally
the
what he's
idea.
doing.
That was the point.
Yes. We're going to ground ourselves, and I'm going to try and attack this thing.
And you'll then be waiting for it to come up as a readied action, because you can't attack it until it pops up. That's the downside of things that use terrain against you.
Yes,
Mhm.
which we'll do.
So unless you want to jump in the water with it.
No.
Grounding doesn't quite work in the water.
No, it doesn't.
We're waiting for it to come. You assume you come to.
Drakdamar, you are up. Unfortunately, your target is now got total cover against you.
Mm-hmm.
But you can fly across the lake safely, you're sure?
You're sure?
Yeah.
It's distracted. You could certainly try. I wouldn't, but you could certainly try.
Checking, and I assume this will still apply. Like it's the total cover part of the house. But I say he does have the ricochet maneuver, which says that on a ranged weapon attack, you can completely ignore a target cover. Only targets that have total cover from being entirely enclosed by an object or effect have cover against the attack. I'm assuming that would apply in this situation. The
It
effect
is.
is water.
The effect is the surface of the water, which is also made difficult terrain.
Yeah.
Which means that basically it's what's stopping the ranged attacks getting through.
Yes. Concealment, cover, and bad terrain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Although if
how
you're
deep in the water is it?
overhead, the water can't mess you up on aim.
You're not sure how deep the water is, but it looks like it would be at least 20 to 40 feet deep by the size of the creature that came out.
Well, no, it's like how far below the water level is the creature?
The creature, you can see its eyes because it's starting to glow, and it seems to be maybe about 15 to 20 feet below.
Okay. Not much chance, but Rex, if it can see me, or don't see it, then it can see me, and therefore it can see the power of Atruaghin, and I will use the power of Atruaghin to force it from this place. Attempting a counter innovation turn undead, which you can also do on fiendish for supernatural creatures.
Okay, does it get a saving throw?
it's a 40.
Yes, and okay, because I need a 5th level product, it's not like it's a difficult saving throw, but where are we? Each creature in 10 feet, he says he must make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Wisdom saving throw, which is its worst save. He got a 19.
Oh.
I expect that's probably enough. How do we work out the DC?
The DC is 10 plus your
level DC?
10 plus your proficiency bonus. It's basically your spellcraft DC.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's that code. I got a DC of 17. So.
You rolled an 18 on the dice and got a +1.
So unless you've got a feat that increases that, no.
I got a lot closer than I actually expected to.
Hey, there was a big chance of you actually defeating it. You had more than 50% chance of doing so. Just that the dice loved me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, actually, no. If you only got a +1, I've got a.
That was his worst stat.
50% chance of actually getting it. No,
Yeah.
75% chance of getting it.
Jeremy, he got 18 on the dice.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
way above average.
Yes.
If he rolled even a bit closer to average, he'd have failed.
2 points lower was a failure.
Succeeded. So.
Okay, so that was the power of Atruaghin not succeeding.
And it only wants the rest, and I don't have to attack, so yeah. I'm happy to
Retreat?
No, I'm happy to stay relatively close to the edge, so therefore I can now shoot but away from Lani and
Pat.
Father Pat, on the idea that I'll move further down the pit,
The ledge.
back to the way.
Okay, so that brings us to the well to save the day.
Right.
I'll give you an insight roll before you roll anything as a free check. Always handy to have.
Yes.
20.
This far off. With the D4, it's 20. Which makes 33.
Okay, you believe that the creature has infected Lani to the point where no matter what healing you cast on Lani, Lani will not heal while it lives.
Killed it.
Which is what a lot of demons do.
Yeah, that's a very
Yes.
demon-y thing. And we unfortunately don't have a demon eater Eep around. Otherwise, Eep, would you like a fish dinner?
Yes.
The one time you could have used a insane Feywild to help you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, Fey Dark, actually.
Yeah,
They
Fey
look
Dark,
at this
yeah.
and go, help with this one.
Yeah.
What could be worse? He could actually go, yes, master, and leave.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't want
Well,
that.
they can't. In fact, you can put 7 Martin roll an 18 on the
So,
side. If we had rolled 15 on that, he would have won. We still couldn't actually get line healed.
Yeah.
so, I will, as I set myself up to do something, I will say, I will change my plan slightly. Lani is demon corrupted and can't be healed right now. Be wary. And then I'll blast it
When it pops up.
when it pops up.
Okay. It is its actions next. It pops up, which means that Father Pat gets to go first because he held his action first.
Yes. You act, then I act, and I'm going to do all sorts of stuff which means
11
die rolls.
plus 6 is 17, plus 4 is 21 for proficiency.
And that is a hit.
That's a hit. What's Longsword doing? D8.
Longsword does a D8. I would expect you to be at least with some weapon mastery, which we'll deal with later, which means you should be rolling 3D8.
Yeah.
And because it's a magical weapon that you're attuned to, that makes it 4D8.
Right.
Because combats aren't meant to be drawn out and niggly little bits. You're heroes. You should kill things rather quickly.
Yes. One of the things that was a design decision in Monster Manual 3 for 4th edition, they've kept with that, is no fight should be more than 5 rounds long.
Yeah.
Even
And
against really big nasty.
When I compared some of the hit points to playing with people using by the rules as written,
Yeah.
games were going over 10 rounds.
Way
Yep.
long, yeah.
And
Okay.
that's... They said it was no bad, don't do that. That's why they changed Monster
10,
Manual.
18, plus 6 for strength is 24.
20.
And plus,
What type of damage?
so slashing with the...
That is slashing damage?
Yep.
That's with also magic considered because it has magic attached from it.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's it. 18, 24, 25 points of damage.
So that is quite the strike. And that's only your first attack.
Yep. I get my second attack.
Mm-hmm.
19.
Nice.
We got 10, 19 plus 7 is, and then 26.
So did you roll a 19 or you
I rolled
add?
a 19.
Okay, so when we add, you've got at least 10 points of bonuses. So that, and how much damage did you do?
Another 26.
So this time it will be a critical hit, which means you double. If you can beat their armor class by 10, you get the effects of a critical hit.
That's 26, so that's, so take the 6 and the 7 off. Do you double everything?
Everything.
Okay. 52.
Because you are the heroes, you do get to do heroic things. It's still going.
I was fate.
Sorry?
I was the fate.
Okay, then we move over to Lowell, and the paladin did get his scrolls in, and you can see the same sort of marks on the creature that is on Lani, except this time it's a
Glowing.
white flame
Yeah.
instead of a black flame. Because hey, paladin and fiends have very similar features against each other,
Very
Yes.
true.
because they like to beat each other down to a pulp.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes. Part of the fun of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, I think last session, and I asked a question, I don't think you actually answered it. Are you willing to have me go for average damage per roll rather than me having
You can go for
5 dice
average.
every time?
You can do average damage.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm willing to do that to not get the really big rolls
Mm-hmm.
because adding up these every time.
Can be very tiring.
Yes. rather a bit.
Though I do find the way the books do all their average to be flawed in their numbers because they don't follow any actual pattern I can follow.
Yeah.
It's not half plus half the damage.
Yeah.
It's not half plus the damage.
No,
Yeah.
So
I did average times the number of dice and then round down.
Well, if I
Which
well,
is a
there's no
reasonable-
rounding on the dice.
Well,
None of the dice have rounding.
35.5 points. You're not going to count the half, are you?
I mean, when you say you've got
So-
4d12, half of that would be
4d12.
Not half the number, half the die check,
yeah.
half the die average, which is 4.5.
Mm.
Or in this case, 5.5 or
Okay.
d10.
Another
5.5
D12.
per die times the number of dice plus my charisma modifier plus the weapon modifier gives me a total of 35 per hit
Mm-hmm.
as an average. Because I used average for each roll, rather than what some of them have worked out as some weird ass number.
Yeah. That's why I just
Yeah.
roll instead of believe the number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just go for real maths and work with that.
Come up with our own average.
So I have to roll this 3 times. Oh.
Nice.
All right, 32. Is that 10 over its hit?
That is 10 over its thing.
Right. So 35.
And I'm assuming you're adding holy into that.
Can I do radiant?
I thought it was like you could change it to that.
As a
oh, sorry.
celestial warlock.
I can as a warlock with a particular invocation, which I do have, spend a spell point. I will make this radiant.
Mhm.
Question on a crit: is it the die roll that's multiplied or the whole number?
The total.
Total makes it easy. All right.
Yeah, I'd simplify.
Excellent.
70 points of damage. Okay, so as you see Father Pat goes swipe, swipe with the thing, leaving big gaping bits of white in it. And then you see Llewell go pew,
Punch! Oh, sorry. That's 1 of 3.
and it explodes with 3 more pews going through it.
2 more pews going.
Well, the first pew goes through it because it's so big.
Yeah. It makes a hole, and my other shots go through the hole. They were a waste.
It's like that classic scene out of Monkey where he throws the staff and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and goes through the monster.
Yes, I keep doing that with my Eldritch Blast.
And Lani hears in a voice in her head saying, "Bye, mother," as it falls.
Bye, mother.
I did put it here.
It's also going to be playing with your head. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mommy! Mommy!
Does my black flame bite mark stop flaming?
They do
Now I can
fade.
feed
Okay. Yeah, I would like
Which is the
like
next
some,
creature.
I would like
Yes.
some healing before
You
we
get-
move forward.
It's almost like that. But hey, Lowell did it correctly. He got rid of the thing causing the infection before he dealt with the infection.
Yes.
Exactly right, yes.
Correct.
So, how does Lowell kill Lani? What does Father Pat do? The slap up the back of the head,
I'll get
touch.
Well, if he had, he could do the heal route. He's not on hands, couldn't he? Yes.
Yeah. How chunky is your layer in hands, though?
It's very handy. At least it wasn't a foot.
Exactly.
No, 'cause he lost
Kick her with his big leg. Away. What have we got?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a cure. 13. Nope, need one more.
Okay. How much more does she need when you're ready?
36 points worth.
Okay. As you heal Lani, you see blank gunk just pour from the wounds.
Well, okay. So how
So,
much
I was gonna say-
how much are you down now?
I would say that Lani is feeling much better, but some very obvious wounds still remain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Father Pat gives her a clip across the back and says, "Toughen up, soldier."
You're used to that shit.
As you see the
I've got a total of 70 points. So
it would be about the equivalent of 11 needed.
what do I need to put you back?
Yeah.
And so, as usual with healing magic, you see it just scar tissue over.
Yeah.
Healing magic never clears the scar.
Yeah.
It's just insta heal.
Yeah.
Yes. Restoration could fix that.
Yes, and regeneration could fix that, but very few battle medics use that sort of stuff.
Yes, because
They're
one,
more concerned about
once a
keeping you
fifth,
alive.
because
It's
a restoration or the chunky restoration,
Restoration can get rid of some, the chunky restoration can get rid of a lot.
which is costly and is 5th level, and regeneration is 7th level. Yeah, you're not going to see that on battle medics. I can fix it though.
I can fix it with tattoos.
You can just tattoo a design into the scars, so it's even more impressive.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you want to keep
I
the
want the
scars,
black flames back. That was sick.
well, tattoo them in.
Yeah.
In fact, if we
I was
use,
gonna say Lani already has a couple of different tribal tattoos.
if
So it
we
would-
use alchemical inks, they can actually move like flames.
see, now we're talking.
And there are also some magical inks that can do the same.
Yeah.
Sure.
Basically-
Except the magical ink may actually have it pull out from you and attack someone.
Now you're just giving me ideas.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. One
That
of,
sounds cool as hell.
one of them is an illusion, and the other one is a summonable creature made of black flames.
Yeah, that sounds cool as hell.
Well, imagine a kraken peeling off from you and attacking something.
Hell yeah.
Okay, it won't be that big necessarily, but yeah.
Depends on the magic involved.
Let's
Yeah, just like-
let's go and have a look up the tattoo spells.
Yes.
There are many tattoos.
I'm going to have to call it last week.
Yeah.
So we will finish it there and see next week what happens when you reach the island. You've actually seen the island, you just haven't reached it.
Yes.
And yes, you did defeat the guardian of the lake, who was put here to make life interesting.
Well, that's certainly
No,
right.
no, no. Amazing.
Not necessarily put there by Lani.
Not necessarily, and we can't be sure of it.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
That's true.
And unless you put it there later, earlier, you'll never know.
Don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously, you could put it there knowing that it wouldn't take much effort to kill.
True.
Well, now you know you defeated it, you could easily put it there.
That's right.
It's fine.
You're not going to put it there.
Yes.
Of course, that's only in this timeline did you succeed. How many timelines did you fail doing it?
Took us a little while to
Next
get here.
Next time, remember the dog.
Yes. Yes. We'll need to get you healed up as well.
Well, that's where you tell yourself next time remember to dodge, and then you still don't dodge. Because you had to tell yourself to remember to dodge.
Yes.
Yes. Now, if you
And you have to have a reason to tell yourself to remember the dog, but because you didn't dog.
yeah, now you could either go for the expensive permanent version of a spell roll tattoo, or
Okay, so we'll put it on
Everything about good sense.
Thank you.
redone every time you have to.
Just